was not having it whatsoever. I think we're all right, though. I think there might be a little drama with Wi-Fi in the area, but we got there. We got the video up, and we are live. So I hope everyone is well. Obviously, lots and lots of things to talk about. One of the main things that's on my mind at the moment is about Terry Funk, of course. I saw that news breaking through about an hour or so ago. And yeah, you know, it's not one that's a great surprise. I mean, his health has been horrific for years and years. But still, you know, a legend like that, a former NWA world champion, when that title really was one of the maybe the wrestling championships, you know, going back to like the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, when that belt meant so much. I mean, it was right up there with the WWE Championship, and for many people, it was even more important. And obviously, Terry Funk was a former NWA World Champion. But not only that, you know, he just kept innovating and redefining his career. He would spend a bit of time going to ECW and doing like the extreme stuff, which was just crazy. Obviously, he was Chainsaw Charlie as well in WWF. And for someone that was around in the 70s, that was a proper wrestler, you know, a man's man, proper wrestler, and was the world champion, for him to, in the later stages of his career, embrace a more extreme style and hold his own in the likes of ECW. I mean, he's very inspirational, actually. He's very inspirational. He's inspirational in the sense of he kept adapting and evolving and changing and embracing new things. And I think as a result, there's so many fans that love him. The old school wrestling fans, you know, your Jim Cornettes, absolutely love him because he was, you know, one of the Funk brothers. He was a former world champion. He was one of the biggest names in old school wrestling. But then your more modern day wrestling fans love him as well, because obviously he embraced the change. He went to ECW. He continued his career, and he didn't just phone it in. It's not like he went there and he didn't, like, you know, really commit. He really gave his all, and you know, bleeding, barbed wire, busted open. He was the ECW world champion as well. I mean, won world championships absolutely everywhere. But I mean, he spent time over in Japan. He spent time in ECW, spent time, as we said, you know, in different territories, spent time in WWE. I mean, he's done it all, man. He's done it all. He was even a part of that infamous Hell in a Cell match, the Mankind Undertaker one, of course, because as many of you know, Terry Funk was the one that would come down and check on Mick Foley. So, you know, when Mick Foley's taking those massive bumps as Mankind through the table, through the cage, it's Terry Funk that's one of the first on the scene to check on him as he's lying in the ring. Like, Terry Funk comes down with the stretcher, is like, you know, checking on his good friend. So yeah, that's a big loss. And you've seen the outpouring of like grief, if you will. It's a weird one, because I can't say that it's grief for me. It's more like, I can't say I'm massively surprised, but it's more just like, you know, we lost a legend. One of my absolute favorite Mattel figures is a Terry Funk one. And the reason is because it comes with the ECW World Championship, and it's one of the only ways you can get that belt. And so the fact that I could walk into a Smith's toy store, right, which is just it's where you get Marvel, it's where you get Star Wars, but the fact that you can walk in there and get a Terry Funk figure is mental. And it's still one of the only ways you can get that ECW Championship. So I've just got a real soft spot for that figure. I can remember picking it up in the shops and thinking, this is mental. Like Undertaker, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Terry Funk. You go, one of these things is not the same as the others. But yeah, we can obviously talk about it more, but there's so much that we got to talk about. There's so many things to get to. We need to obviously talk about Edge. That's a big one. I did just drop a video. And there's obviously tonight's show as well. I've just managed to grab the graphic for that, so we need to flash that up. And obviously we've started early because of All in London. We need to talk about that card. I haven't done a predictions video for it, so I was thinking we could blast through it here. I did try and go through it on the Wrestling Escape Pods, but to be honest, by the time we got to it, it was like towards the end of the episodes, and we sort of ran out of time, and so we had to speed run it. So I'd like to spend a little bit longer going through the cards. We are doing the watch along on Sunday. I am excited for the show, of course. I was at an 8. It's probably still around that, maybe an 8.25. I am getting a bit more excited the closer that it's getting. I mean, it's one of the biggest wrestling shows of all time. Over 80,000 people. The fact that it's in the UK as well is extra exciting for me and for this community, because as I've said many times, many of you I know are going and are excited about going, and I'm excited for you that you go in. And I know there's been a lot of criticism about the cards, and I can understand that we would rather see Kenny Omega in a singles match, and we would rather see, like, you know, maybe less multi-person matches, maybe, you know, Kenny against MJF or MJF against CM Punk. There's maybe a few different combinations of things that could make that card stronger, but I don't think it's a bad card. I don't think it's a disaster. I mean, if you bought tickets to go to AEW, I'm pretty sure these were the names you were expecting, you know? It's not like there's no MJF, no Kenny Omega, no Young Bucks. Like, I mean, the kind of names you would expect to be on the card are on the card. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the card looks all right to me. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let's get to these super chats. Logan Murphy says, R.I.P. Terry Funk, a living legend. Logan, shout out to you. Mitchell says, can you do a poll? What shows up at All In? Edge, Goldberg, both, someone else? If you want that in a poll, we can do this. What was the question? Who shows up at All In? Edge, Goldberg, both, someone else. Boom. Done. Logan said, do you know that Hobbs Miro is happening? No. We will look at the cards. I've not heard that be announced. I mean, that I think is probably a Collision thing, because I haven't seen Miro. I haven't seen Powerhouse Hobbs in forever, so I'm guessing that's come out of Collision. A lot of that, you know, maybe that this is part of the build that I'm missing, is that side of things. Like, I don't know how we got to CM Punk Samoa Joe, but it doesn't really matter, because I mean, I know all of the stars. I know it, you know, it might get a problem for me once we start to bring in people that I don't know. So, for example, if there's like a great young indie talent, we drop them on Collision, and I'm not exposed to them. But to be honest, they might bring them over to Dynamite, and they might try and, you know, get them known, because, you know, if you look at the ratings, there's quite a few people that only watch Dynamite. I mean, Dynamite tends to get about, what, 850, and I think Collision tends to do about 450, 500,000, probably more about 500,000. It seems to really fluctuate. We did do over 700 not long ago, but that was seemingly an exception. I think we've only done that once. So, yeah, it tends to more be around the 500,000 mark, which says there's a good couple of 100,000 people in America alone that only watch Dynamite over Collision. And I've got to think that's probably reflected around the world as well. I've got to think that, like, I can't imagine that that's any different in other countries. So, yeah, that is going to be a little bit of a problem when new stars arrive on Collision and we don't know them. But at the moment, we're all right. We know everyone. So, yeah, it should be a good match. Aaron said, I always love wrestling, but because of the community, I have fun watching it more. The streams are fun, and it makes me hyped for Wembley. Aaron, shout out to you, my friends. Yeah, I mean, honestly, just have such a great time, but I don't even need to say that, because you're going to have a great time. It's one of the biggest shows ever. I mean, They're starting to kind of say, I've seen a thing that says it's now the biggest paid attendance wrestling show ever. I don't know. I mean, I'm not disbelieving that, right? If they're shouting about that, I'm sure they've checked everything, crossed their T's, dotted their I's, right? So if they're saying that, I'll have to believe it, because I really don't think AEW are going to be saying something that's not like 100% been double checked. We know that there are shows though that have had more people at them, but if that is true, and as I've just said, I'm believing it's true, that is mental, in it. The biggest, most paid attended, because let's be honest, paid attended is the most important, right? Anyone could do a flipping wrestling show and just get 100,000 people to go along for free if you put on a good enough card, right? But actually getting people to part with their money, that's the difficult thing. So if this is, which, as I said, I believe it is, the highest attended for like paid attendance wrestling show in the history of wrestling, like all the wrestling that's ever happened, ever, like it is crazy. I mean, when they announced Wembley, I remember saying, like, I can't believe it. I'm in shock. But he must have some numbers that say this is the right thing to do, right? There is no way Tony Khan has just, like, gambled to that extent without some numbers that say this makes sense. So I felt good that they were going to do, say, 50, 60,000, right? I felt good they would do that. No way was I prepared for them to smash through 80-odd thousand. I mean, this thing has gained such momentum. Like, it's really took a life on of its own. This show is such a spectacle. I mean, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible what has happened with the show. I feel like you could do documentaries just on this show. Easy. You could do an easy document and it would be fascinating. Fascinating to do a documentary on how this show came about. Would be absolutely fascinating with behind the scenes. Like, I'd love to be in the room where Tony first proposed, let's do Wembley, and see the look on people's faces and what data he had at the time to tell him it was like going to work. Because he must have had something. He must have. There is no way your biggest show is like 20,000 at Arthur Ashe Stadium, right? And we all know that they've struggled a little more this year for ratings. We all know that the attendances for certain shows have struggled. There is no way, on no world, on any planet, that you then turn around and go, do you know what? Let's book Wembley Stadium. Let's book Wembley Stadium. Without some sort of data or numbers or indication that that's a venue worth booking, right? He must have known that there was, an interest in tickets, or searches for when is AEW coming to the UK on Google are through the roof. Or did you know that, like, our UK audience has grown, even though in America our audience has stagnated? In the UK it's grown by 20%. Has it? Like, I'd love to know what those numbers are. I don't actually know that's true, by the way. I'm just saying he must have had some sort of numbers or some number like that made him go, I reckon we can do Wembley. So yeah, this whole show, I think, is really interesting. There's not many shows, certainly WrestleManias, but outside of WrestleManias, there's not many shows that I think you could do a really good documentary on just on that show. Because a lot of shows are just B shows, whatever. WWE B shows and whatever, they're pay-per-view shows. But like this one, this just feels like, of course, up there with a WrestleMania. It does feel like a WrestleMania on Sunday. That's how it feels to me anyway. 80-odd thousand people in Wembley. It does feel like a WrestleMania. And I expect surprises. I don't expect Edge, to be honest, because I don't think his contract has expired. I did read something the other day that said that his contract wasn't totally up yet. Like, I think they've agreed that match with Sheamus maybe is his last match. He said in Toronto, didn't he? He said in Toronto That's his last match. He didn't say it was his last match. So I'm a bit confused as to when his last match actually is. So I wonder if I can find that actually. There's obviously been a lot of talk about Edge, and we are getting to it. I did do a video on the channel, so if you want a spoiler for pretty much what I'm going to say, it's all in that video. Let's have a look at Edge contract and see what's here we go. Bleacher Report. So this was a couple of days ago. Edge reveals that contract expires end of September. So Hall of Famer Edge has confirmed when his current contract will expire. With a discussion, it's only speculation. It's true. Edge's career went out on a victory. Right, but that's it. I mean, there's really nothing to it. Nothing to it. It just says that his contract is up end of September. So I think there is, obviously, in regards to the Edge news, a massive development today. One that I did not see coming. One that I did not anticipate us having to talk about. One that I still can't get my head around. But the development is, if PW Torch are correct, and they are a very good source, is that WWE have turned down Edge's demand, basically. They've turned down what he wants. And I mean, I can't be alone in being stunned by this, because in what world do WWE want to willingly lose Edge? In what world do they want to watch Edge go walk off to AEW? If Edge goes to AEW, completely understandable why he does it now. I said before I don't see it happening, and I still stand by what I said, because in no world did I believe WWE would be willing to let him leave. It was coming down to, would Edge turn his back on WWE? And I didn't think he would. I really didn't think he would. But I also didn't think WWE would go, nah, we can't do that. What's he asked for? A flipping pony? What does he want? I don't understand. What has he demanded that WWE have gone, no, we can't do that. You'll have to go to AEW. What's he want? Like, leprechauns. Leprechauns. He wants Vince McMahon to be at his beck and call 24/7. He wants flying car. He wants he wants his own video game. I don't. Honestly, he could have all of that. If he wants Vince to be on his beck and call, and he wants his own video game, and he wants a flying unicorn and a flying car and a pixies and fairies and I don't know, whatever else he wants, just give it him. Just give it him. What's the problem? You got money. You got money. Just got this massive, just being taken over by Endeavor. We ain't struggling for money unless he's gone, give me $1 billion or something like this. Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand. In what world is it beneficial for WWE to wave goodbye to Edge and watch him go off to AEW? In what world is that helpful to WWE? I don't understand. Can't get my head around it. Are they of the opinion that it won't make that much of a difference? Are they of the opinion that Edge going is not a big enough name for it to really do much for AEW? I don't know. Are they of the opinion that if Tony wants Edge, he's going to have to spend a lot of money and he won't make that kind of money back on Edge? So they're thinking, if Edge goes to AEW, they'll take a $5 million hit. Whatever it is they're going to generate from Edge being there, it's going to cost them $10 million to get Edge. And, our numbers say that from merch, from ticket sales, they'll, make $5 million. They'll probably make $5 million. Are they thinking along those lines? I wish we were in the room. I wish I was in the room. I would love to know what that conversation was. I would love to know what that conversation was, because I don't understand it. I really don't. So a lot of the times you can look at stuff and you can go, yeah, I get it. You can look at numbers and ratings and why certain decisions are made, like LA Knight, right? I feel like I completely understand why WWE have done what they've done with LA Knight. So when people are running around on Twitter crying that LA Knight's not being pushed, I feel like I get it. I feel like I understand. He was never massively in their plans, right? He was going to be a mid-carder at best. And then he got over. WWE went, oh, we got something here. And so they then factored him in to start getting pushed after SummerSlam, right? So everyone running around crying in, I don't know, June, whatever, right? All they had to do was wait, because Triple H is like booking in cycles, and the cycle we were in was running up to SummerSlam. The next cycle would start after SummerSlam. Now we're seeing LA Knight on Raw, SmackDown, picking up wins, you know, like all of a sudden winning battle royals at SummerSlam, blah, 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 blah. Get it, yeah? So I feel like you can look at certain things like that and you go, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. Oh, I think that's going on like there. I think that's going on there. I look at this Edge situation, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, unless he's demanded, like, legitimately, like 20 million, which, to my knowledge, is more than Brock's on, I'd be like, what's he asking for? What does he want? Shares in the company? Like, what's he want? Is he coming with like some sort of Conor McGregor requests? Don't know. I mean, if it was something like that, then I could understand WWE going, we can't do that. We can't do that. But equally, I mean, Edge going to AEW would be massive. Be massive for AEW, wouldn't it? Be massive. That would be a hell of a boost for them. I know he ain't going to be sticking around long, but just that little boost. And Edge has got such name recognition. I know he can't use that. I know he'd have to go under the name of, is it Adam? I know it's Adam Copeland. I think it is Copeland. He would have to go by that name. But even so, I mean, you slap his face on posters, people, you don't need his name. People are going to recognize who it is. So, yeah, it's a strange one. It's a strange one. If you've heard any more, because all I've seen, I think, is largely the headlines that are out there, which is Edge is, you know, demanded some at WWE, have said no, and now there is a genuine belief that he would be like, okay, well, if you're not going to keep me around, I'll have to go elsewhere. Richard said, have you seen the PW torch on Edge? Yes. Kind of hard to trust. No other news outlet has reported it. PW Torch has got a bad track record lately. Well, I can't speak on that. I mean, all I can say is that the Torch is one that I do trust. I can't speak about anything they've got wrong, though. So if this does turn out to be false information, I mean, that will ruin PW Torch's reputation, because in my eyes, I put them up there with a PW Insider, maybe not quite a Sean Ross Sapp. I feel like Sean Ross Sapp is like the gold standard when it comes to like insider news. I feel like Fightful have really emerged as the gold standard, the best you're going to get, in my opinion. I know that everyone likes this better wrestling, whatever it's called, right, experience. I don't really know much about this person. I don't really I think they're it's a Twitter account that's protected tweets, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one. That doesn't seem like it's a journalist. It's just someone that gets the odd bit of information every now and again. They seem, I mean, everyone's giddy about them. So that better wrestling experience, Wrestle votes have proven to be good in the past. Sean Ross Sapp, I think, is, for me, I regard as gold standard. I still like Dave Meltzer, right? I think that Dave Meltzer definitely has got stuff wrong in the past, but there ain't anyone that's not going to have got stuff wrong in the past. I think that Dave Meltzer has been doing this a long time. I think he genuinely has got connections, and I think we know that he's got connections. I mean, the Young Bucks named a finishing move after him, the Meltzer driver. So, and everyone is chasing, trying to get a 5-star match out of Dave. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people, certainly in AEW, really treasure trying to get 5-star matches. Tony Khan, I think, absolutely loves the fact he's won Booker of the Year in Observer, Wrestling Observer newsletter, and actually puts a lot into that, you know. And that means a lot to him that they've done that. that they've awarded him that, and he's been voted that. So I feel like the Observer and Dave are held in fairly high regard within the industry, and there's still plenty of people that don't like him, of course. But I would say that when he comes out with something, I definitely listen to that as well. You know, you compare it to the amount of legitimate fake news that's out there. You know, there's a lot of sources out there that are just people that are trying to make a name for themselves, just come out with, like, you know, absolute rubbish or something they've read from, say, Facebook, and it's like, that'll do. You know, that'll do. I've just seen someone type this, so I'll run with it. There's plenty of that goes on. So I think for me, I always elevate like a Torch, an Insider, a Sean Ross Sapp, a Meltzer. I always elevate those guys to like that next level above the absolute dross that's out there. I mean, you will have seen the channels on YouTube. There are channels on YouTube that just churn out legitimate fake news. Like the thumbnails are all just completely fabricated, and the, like, you know, the news that they're reporting is just completely fake. I've seen it as like, you know, such and such injured at a house show. They're absolutely fine. They're absolutely fine. And like the thumbnail will be like an arm that's come off and blood spurting out. I must admit, I am tempted to make that channel myself. I am tempted to go down the roads of doing an exaggerated kind of like fake news, because there's so many of them out there. So in this world of where it can be a struggle to know who to trust, someone like the Torch, I do put some faith into. And if this turns out to be incorrect, well, I'll be amongst the first to say, well, look, I'm done with them. You know, this was a big L that they take. But if this is legit and this turns out to be legit, then, you know, it's a good boost to their brand as well. So jury will be out on that one. But Richard, yeah, I mean, look, I've seen it. I don't quite get it. The only thing I can say is that he must have requested diamonds, all the diamonds, literally every diamond in the world. If it is true, he must have wanted them all. And WWE have gone, well, we can get you 99% of them, but we're going to struggle to get all of them. Unless it's like something along those lines. I just don't understand why WWE are willing to like wave him off, pack his bags for him, off to AEW he goes. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Jason said 4 days till All In. So excited. Good evening. Good evening, sir. Yeah, not long to go. I do need to set the streams up. I'm going to look to do that. Well, tomorrow, to be honest. I mean, I am doing a member stream tomorrow, but other than that, I've got time. I need to do my research for Usyk and Dubois, because that's on Saturday. But I think most of the community are probably more excited for Sunday. I'm pretty excited for the boxing on Saturday as well, though, to be honest. Certainly if Dubois can do it, because then that means that the UK will have another boxing heavyweight world champion if Usyk loses, but he won't lose. And then on Sunday, we've got AEW All in London, one of the biggest wrestling shows of all time, taking place from the UK. It's a good weekend for the UK. Or it could be. Could be. Yeah, it kind of feels like the eyes of the wrestling world are going to descend on London, which is always very exciting. And happening a little more regular as well, isn't it? Not long ago, the eyes of the wrestling world descended on London. As obviously we hosted Money in the Bank. I gotta tell you, in America, you're so lucky because you get all these big shows. And if you look at the history of wrestling, I mean, it's obviously dominated by America. You know, I mean, like you go back to Hackenschmidt and Gotch from the early 1900s, and Gotch, of course, was American. Gotch would win that encounter, which meant that the world champion of wrestling was American, and it was in, that belt was in America, and it stayed in America for so long. And you had the likes of Ed Strangler Lewis, who was like one of the biggest names, Lou Thez, of course. And of course, this title would kind of evolve into, it's not quite seamless, but would kind of evolve into the NWA title. And, it's just the history of wrestling is largely dominated by America. We don't see that world title really spending time in India or anything like this, you know. Obviously, there was little things that were popping up everywhere, but by and large, it's all in America. And I kind of feel that here in the UK, we've got such a proud history of wrestling ourselves, but we don't have that same sort of history. So whenever we get a moment like this, and it's nothing more than a moment for us, is it? You know, the show AEW are based in the US, WWE are based in the US. We don't really have any major promotions of our own to create our own big spectacular moments. We had World of Sport, but even they weren't putting on monster Wembley shows. I actually don't know what the biggest show was they did. That's interesting. What was the biggest show that like Big Daddy did, for example? Because Big Daddy, everyone knew Big Daddy. But to my knowledge, I mean, I'm not aware of stadium shows that they did. Even so, it was still bingo halls, you know? So we just don't have that kind of history. We just don't have that history. I remember one of the biggest shows Progress did was Wembley, but it was Wembley Arena. And everyone was crazy about that. The fact that they'd sold out Wembley Arena and they were doing Wembley Arena. I think the main event was Tyler Bate versus Gunther, Volta at the time. And so that was the main event of Progress Wembley Arena. So yeah, this is quite the moment for UK wrestling as well, for us to have this little moment in time. So it's very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. And how exciting as well that when we look down the list of like the biggest wrestling shows ever, you know, Wembley is going to be there once again. Because obviously SummerSlam 92 was a hell of a marker. I mean, that was one of the biggest shows of all time as well. And I believe this one is going to be even bigger now. And I would imagine WWE are not going to just sit there and go, well done, AEW. Yeah, pleased for you. I would imagine they're going to go, they've done what? What they done? Well, we can't have that. And I would imagine they'll come firing back with Summit as well. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do, to be honest, unless they're going to try and do WrestleMania 40. I don't even know if WrestleMania 40 can be bigger. I don't even know if it's got the capacity to be bigger and actually put on like a bigger show. But make no mistake about it, WWE are going to want to put down their own marker again. And outdo whatever it is that this show on Sunday is going to do. So I don't know that they'll do it in Wembley. You know, I'd expect them to do it in like, you know, America Allegiant Stadium or, you know, one of those SoFi again. But yeah, I've no doubt that they'll want that record, whatever it ends up being, you know. Richard said, sorry I've not been on for a while. It was nice meeting you at Wrestling Shop. Richard, shout out to you, my friend. Hope you are well. Are you going all in? Do you think we get Goldberg in a AEW debut? I'm not going to all in because exactly the same as Money in the Bank, I'm streaming it. So we will be doing the watch long. We will be early for it. I'm treating it as if it's a WrestleMania. I will have the streams. It's not like, you know, the show's going to start and we'll start. We will be early. So we're doing the live watch long on Sunday. Really looking forward to it. It's do I think Goldberg will be there? I am leaning towards yes. I think there's going to be surprises at that show, right? I don't think anyone's alone in that. So I think you'd have to go down a bit of a list of potential surprises, and the sort of names that are on my mind are, you know, it comes down to who are the biggest names that are available. I believe someone like, is Mickey James available? Like Mickey James might be a possibility. AJ Lee might be a possibility. Like I could see AJ Lee coming down, helping out with that women's four-way. Even if it's not physical, it's just she comes running down and, you know, provides a distraction or provides a moment or does something. There's maybe a chance of that. I mean, it's 80-odd. It's one of the biggest wrestling shows. She's the partner of CM Punk. I've got to think that she has met Tony Khan and is as certainly she's aware of AEW. They're aware that she's still one of the biggest names out there. So I feel like it's very small, because I know she's in a contract with Women of Wrestling, although I don't know if that's now expired. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't expect her to have a match. She ain't having a match. I don't expect her to do anything physical, but could she just be there and come out and make her present? I mean, like, just seeing AJ Lee on that show would be incredible, right? So AJ Lee, Mickie James, obviously the Edge situation has took a drastic turn today, but he won't be there. But could he go to AEW? Like, could he be on his way to All Elite Wrestling? Certainly looking a lot more likely now, innit? Goldberg, I would say, is looking really good. I don't think they would go for Ryback, to be honest. I don't think Ryback is one that they would necessarily go for. I think Brett is on a Legends deal. They've had Brett before. Don't forget, Brett was the one that kind of brought the AEW Championship down to the ring. So he was involved in AEW before. So we have seen Brett. I'm trying to think who else. I've got 3 names that could be there. And the picture is Goldberg. It says, so this is Bleacher Report. They said Goldberg, yeah. Wardlow, Dave Meltzer, Mercedes Moné, yeah. And Jey Uso, what? What are you on about? Shut up. Jey Uso! Okay, no, rubbish. But yeah, Mercedes Moné is a good shout. So, article from Bleacher Report saying 3 potential shock appearances. They've gone with Goldberg, Mercedes Moné, and Jey Uso. Not Jey Uso. Something's drastically gone wrong if Jey Uso's there. Richard said, do you think he demanded to beat Roman? No, I definitely don't think that. I definitely don't think that, because he was in a position where he could have ended the streak and he declined it. I think Edge understands the business very, very well. Very well. Like, he understands that we need to be building young stars or people that he knows he ain't around for a long time. I mean, he did a promo just the other day with Toronto saying, this is my last match here. I don't think I'll get a chance to come back around again. So he knows that his time in Toronto or in wrestling is very limited. So, no, I 100% do not believe he requested that he be the one to beat Roman. No. To be honest, if he said, I want a world title and I'll take Seth's, right? Even that, I don't see that as a problem. I don't see that as a problem. You can that's fine. You can do that. I don't know. I don't know what he requested. In my mind, I can only think money. Because I really don't believe he requested to beat Roman. Because Edge, as we said, he could have been the one to beat the Undertaker streak. It was there for him, but he turned it down. He turned that down. I don't see Edge as someone in a world where so many people, certainly the wrestling world, are out for themselves. I mean, look at like Hulk Hogan, for example, who did everything he could to stay at the top of the cards. I mean, that happens. That is happening all the time. Like, I think it's a professional jealousy that ripped apart Becky and Charlotte's friendship, because they were great friends, but, legitimately they're not now. And whenever you see them, like, interview each other, they're always like, there's clearly things that have happened that's driven a wedge between them. They don't ever really come out and say what it is, but it's believed to be a professional jealousy. It's believed that, like, Charlotte was, on top, and then obviously Becky exploded with being the man, and reach that kind of main event status for a while. It's maybe settled a little bit down now, but she's still one of the biggest women and one of the biggest superstars in WWE. And it's sort of believed that there was a bit of jealousy that came out of that. And that's rampant in wrestling. That's rampant. That's a massive thing in wrestling, that kind of professional jealousy and whatever. I just don't believe Edge has that. Just don't think Edge has it. I think Edge is just pleased to be wrestling because he thought his career was done. Maybe he had it a bit in the past. But even so, I mean, he could have been the one that took the Undertaker streak and he turned it down. And I think that he has done a lot of, like, you know, he put Judgment Day together so that, like, you know, Finn and Damian, who he saw a lot in, and Rhea, you know, they could kind of sit under his learning tree, if you will, so he could give back to, like, you know, that next generation. I don't think he'd want to take that beating Roman away from one of those guys, you know? Don't think he'd want to take that away from them, so... No, I really don't think that's what he requested. I can only put it down to, like, maybe money. Or it is very interesting, though, to explore that. Was it something creative? It's very. This is what I'm thinking. I'm trying to think, like, is there anything else that's maybe a bit more reasonable that WWE just can't accommodate? Could it be that something to do with Beth, and he wants to do? But, like, why would they turn that down? Why would they turn that down, bringing Beth in if she wanted to? But I don't think it is. I can only think it's money. Money and certain dates, but even limited dates would mean that AEW don't get him. So why would you turn that down? I don't know. Let's go into the chat and see what people are saying. Days chirping on that Chainsaw Charlie. R.I.P. Terry Funk. Yes, very sad day. AEW had better acknowledge the Funkster. Oh, they're very good at that. They will. They have, actually, online. Go to Funk You every day. Poor Mankind. We lost the legend. Pouring out the 40 ounce. Godfather's Ho, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Yeah, I agree. It's, as I said, one that's maybe not the most surprising in the world. I mean, we've seen him beaten up and, like, really struggling from a health perspective for a long time. Long time. I actually don't know what it is that he passed away from, or if his health had massively deteriorated even further. But I mean, he was at the point where he was struggling to get out of bed. And it was a real challenge. And, like, as I say, it doesn't make it any less, sad. But, yeah, I mean, what he put his body through. What the road is hard, and it was really hard when he was, like, on top in the 70s. And obviously, I mean, he just never stopped, did he? I couldn't even tell you how many matches that man had. Could you imagine how many matches he's put his body through? I mean, it's thousands and thousands and thousands. Thousands and thousands and thousands. I couldn't even tell you a number. If someone said, do you know he had over 10,000 matches, I'd be like, makes sense. I can believe that. I can definitely believe that. Because back in the day, I mean, they were working like dogs, man. It's not like today. Today, like, they'll do, like, what is it? Saturday, Sunday. They'll do, like, Saturday night. They'll do Sunday night. They'll do Raw. They'll do, like, three days a week, maybe 4. That'll be one show a night. And so you'll wrestle, say, 4 times a week. So that's about, what, 200 times a year? About 200 times a year. Whereas, like, back in the day, it was like every day and sometimes twice a day. Like, it was brutal. It was brutal. The schedule was brutal. That's what they always say. Like, it's like people just don't know how hard it was on the road. Just don't know how hard that life could be. And man, if anyone lived that life, it was Terry Funk. He absolutely lived that life. Russell Andy said Days right back would be perfect. Think about how much reaction he would get. It would be like a Dominic level if booked well. I don't know. I I feel a bit sorry for Ryback. I'm going to throw it out there, right? I feel a bit sorry for Ryback. The reason why is because I know he's been having trouble with like some stalker who has been like, I haven't seen the latest on it, but there's some guy that's really got it in for him that was like talking about him and his family and, you know, all this stuff. And it was pretty moody, man. And I feel like Ryback was quite boring. Right, he was not. He lacks a bit of charisma. He's got a good look. I was never a fan of the "feed me more" stuff. Right, I thought that was a bit cringe. I think that could easily have been repackaged, though. I think he could have been repackaged. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Ryback name. Don't think that's a very good name. I wasn't a fan of the "feed me more" stuff. I thought he had a good look. He just lacked that little bit of personality. I, to be honest, think he has made some comments online, which I haven't really ever seen or engaged with, that's generated that kind of heat. I don't really know where the heat has come from for him, to be honest, because he's just never really been on my radar, right? I've never followed him. I've never seeked out whatever it is he's been saying. I know that he was obviously very upset with his release and he's been fighting hard to get the Ryback name. And I think he's been like saying a lot of trash about WWE. But in all fairness, you can understand why he would do that. It's no great surprise why he would do that because of the fact that he was released by them and, you know, his whole livelihood was just sort of gone. You know, I can understand it. I can understand that. Now, apparently he's made other comments, and I genuinely cannot sit here and tell you as to what they are, right? I genuinely don't know. So he might be a massive douche, might be an awful person, and he might be a massive douche. But I'm being honest when I say I don't know as to, like, you know, any kind of comments that he's made. And I just feel a bit sorry for him. I just find myself feeling sorry for him. I just think if you are someone that, like, dedicates your life to wrestling and being a wrestler, and then it's all just gone for seemingly no fault of your own, and it's just gone, and that's it, and now you've got to do something else. And it's like he's really struggled with that as well, you know. He's really struggled with that. He hasn't. I think he's tried to do like some supplement stuff. I know he's got his YouTube channel. He's tried to like stay a presence online. It's hard, man. I feel so sorry for him. I feel sorry for anyone like that got lost their job with WWE. I've said before, I love WWE, but I cannot defend that. Can't defend people having a contract, that contract then being cut short and terminated mid-contract, like, you know, budget cuts. It sucks. There's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. Gotta say though, they ain't done it for a long time, which is very encouraging. That suggests that WWE have hopefully turned a bit of a corner on that. We don't know what the new company is going to be like as to whether it's a practice they're going to engage with. But yeah, it's been a while since we've done the budget cut trick. I can't even remember if Ryback was a victim of the budget cut trick, but even so. I think like I can sympathize with someone that dedicates themselves to something like wrestling and then has it just like took away from them. He was to turn up, like, unless I'm told otherwise, like that he said this and that and all this kind of stuff, I wouldn't mind him being there. I know he would get like a lot of hate. I don't quite understand why. I'm sure people are going to tell me, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, he said this, he did that, he did this, he did that. But yeah, I wouldn't hate him. Right now, anyway. I wouldn't hate him. I'd be pleased for him. Live your dreams, guys. Live your dreams. Go off and live your dreams. Research with Thomas Flynn said, this is how I would book it. Wardlow comes out. He complains about booking. Then Goldberg comes out and says, you're next. Then Aubrey comes running down. You're next. Well, I don't know, to be honest, because I think I would book it a little different. I think I would have Goldberg come out, say, you're next, and then do the match at All Out, because I think you've got to use All In to book All Out, because they're only a week apart. So I think there's going to be a lot of rematches or slight little tweaks and changes that to matches. You know, it might be that we do Elite versus Bullet Club Golds at Wembley, but then at All Out, it's Kenny versus Switchblades, right? So it's the same sort of matchup, but it's just slightly tweaked. You know, I think we're seeing a slightly underwhelming card. I don't think it's too bad, right? It's not bad enough for me to kick off at it, right? I don't think it's too bad at all, the card for All In London. But I think the reason why it's not got to the standards that people want is because they've got another show the week later, haven't they? They've got, so we're doing All In, and the week later we got All Out. If this was the show and this was it, and it was if it was what the name said, All In, then I think you would have got a slightly different card. I don't think it would have been anything drastically different, but I think you would have got a slightly different card. But I think they've got half an eye on All Out. So if Goldberg does appear, I'm going to make the prediction that he doesn't wrestle at London. And actually, we set the match up for a week later. And I could see like us doing a little bit of stuff like that, so that the excitement of All In then bleeds into All Out. You know, All In could basically be, at the end of the day, a 3-4 hour advert for, you know, next week, so that you get people to not just buy that show, but definitely, oh man, you cannot miss next week, and then try and piggyback off that. And who knows? I mean, in all fairness, if this works, because it's brave. I mean, you got to say this is brave to do 2 back-to-back pay-per-views in this climate, in this economic climate, right? You are going to have to really give people 2 shows that they cannot miss. Like, you cannot miss these 2 shows. Otherwise, people will tune into London and then they'll just skip the one after. Well, you know, Tony ain't going to want them to do that, is he? He ain't going to want them to do that. So you've got to find a way of using All In to promote All Out. So we're going to have to see as to how he does it. If it works, though, this could be something you do going forwards. It could be that you actually do it on 2 separate weekends. Or maybe you try and do it on the same weekend, but it's going to be real hard to, you know, put on a show the size of Wembley twice. You know, they've managed to sell out 80,000 tickets for Wembley. If they had another second night, you know, I don't know how that would look then. I think there'd be a fair few people that went night 1 that would want to be there night 2, though. I still think they'd do a good number, real good number, but there's no guarantee that it would be the 80,000 again. But I don't know. This is all the kind of stuff that Tony's going to be chucking around in his head, isn't he? Andy, shout out to you. Hope you are well. Says his favorite wrestlers are Kamala, Yokozuna, Jake the Snake, all the legends. Daniel said predictions for All In. Thank you, Daniel. Yes, I had maybe slightly slipped my mind, but we'll do a couple more comments and then we'll blast down All In. I did say that we would do those predictions. Logan said, do you know that Fozzy is singing Jericho's song To the Way to the Ring? So they're there, aren't they? They're doing a gig, which I don't quite understand where the gig is, because I think there's 2 gigs they're doing, and I thought one said Wembley. Well, they ain't doing Wembley unless they're playing before the show. Fozzy. Let's go to. I've never been to their website in my life. First time for everything. Here we go. O2 and Wembley Stadium. So Fozzy are at the O2 in Forum in Kentish Town. O2 Forum. Oh, the Forum. I know the Forum. I didn't know it was sponsored by. I didn't know it was sponsored by O2 now. I love that venue. I've seen some amazing gigs at that venue. So okay, they're playing there. Good size. A couple of thousand. And Wembley Stadium. So it says they're playing Wembley Stadium, right? I'm guessing that is them playing him to the ring. So Fozzy at All in Wembley Stadium. Unless they're doing, as I said, unless they're doing like music before the show or maybe after the show. But I can't see people sticking around after the show to, because it's going to be late, isn't it? It's going to be late. So I can only imagine that basically that's just a bit of a cheeky way to say, we're playing during Jericho's entrance. Or, we'll be doing, unless they are doing like a few tracks. You remember how Limp Bizkit at like WrestleMania 19 did like a couple of tracks? Maybe Fozzy are going to do a couple of tracks throughout the evening and we go back to Fozzy every now and again. Those are the two that they've announced, yeah. Days, would my group be main eventers or jobbers? Swerve, Bishop, Khan, Toa, Leona, Brian Cage, Prince Nana. I think you got a mixture there, buds. I think you got a mixture of potential main eventers. I really like Swerve, and I think Powerhouse Hobbs has got some real potential, but equally, like, Prince Nana. And I don't know about Brian Cage. I mean, it's never happened for Brian Cage, has it? I think he suffers from a bit of Ryback-itis. So I think he's someone that has got such an incredible look, but just really struggles to kind of break through into that main event picture. So I think you got a bit of a mixed bag there. Alex Bliss Gamer, shout out to you, said Edge mentioned today on the bump some wrestlers he still wants to wrestle, including Sami Zayn. I don't think he would be saying that if he was leaving. Well, to be honest, it's a bit of a game. It's a bit of a dance. So I think he wants to stay with WWE, right? But I've always thought this. I don't see him leaving WWE. I didn't believe he would go to AEW because I didn't believe he would leave WWE. So I've always thought that he would stay with WWE based on that reason. So I don't think he wants to go. So if he's put a contract thing in and said, these are my demands, right? Time for a new deal. This is what I want, right? Now, he might have gone big. He might have gone real big. He might have gone OTT big, because it could be that WWE have come back going, we can't do that. How about that, right? And this could all be part of the dance. So, that's another aspect of this, is that the headline today is that Edge's contract has been rejected. Doesn't necessarily mean that WWE have left the table. It doesn't necessarily mean that WWE have gone, thanks for your service, and they're off, right? It could mean that a counter offer is being worked on, and then Edge is going to have to consider as to whether that's going to be the right thing for him or not. Maybe he counters the counter, right? As we said, it's a back and forth, it's a negotiation. He could just turn around and go, that's, that was my take it or leave it, I'm done. So, I mean, look, this is big news. If they can't come to an agreement, they can't find an agreement, he could be off and he could go to AEW. The other thing as well, though, is that it could be the 12th hour where there's a stalemate. Neither side wants to blink. Edge doesn't want to agree to terms that he thinks are below him. WWE doesn't want to agree to terms they think are too expensive. And so someone's got to give. Someone's got to blink. And so it might be they get right up to the death. And, is Edge going to have the balls to walk away? Are WWE going to have the balls to allow him to walk away? I mean, if it is true that his contract does not expire until September, then technically WWE have still got a little bit of time, and there's still technically a chance for this dance to play out. If Edge is going to, make a few comments like, well, I'd still love to face Sami Zayn. I'd still love to face this. I'd still love to, there's things I still want to do, WWE. It's just all part of the dance, isn't it? So, yeah, I think that there's still more to come with this story. I think there's still more that's going to play out here. I mean, well, clearly, because he hasn't left WWE. No one's saying he's gone from WWE. The headline is that the deal has been rejected, right? That's where we are. A deal has been rejected, apparently, according to PW Torch. But as it said, either side can come back with a counter offer, a new offer, and this dance can continue. So, yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. What we do know, though, is he said that his contract is up in September, hence why, I don't see him being at All In. Can't see that happening at all. I mean, I can't see how that would happen. So, yeah, I'm not expecting that. The spoiler for All In is that it's going to be a mid-boring show, said Sakilla. Grant, hello, buds. Hope you well. Said, I'm honestly looking forward to the pre-show match. I would love Adam Cole to have a Ring of Honor belt again. But Edge's contract doesn't end in September. He could make an appearance at Wembley, but just not wrestle. No, I don't think he can. I mean, if he's under contract with WWE, I don't think he can show up at Wembley. I mean, unless he's going to buy a ticket and sit in the crowd, and they're going to just show him on camera, but that would very much upset WWE. But then saying that, give him a new contract then. Give him a new contract, because that would be cheeky. That would be the kind of thing you'd expect like MJF to do to Tony Khan, in 2024, when it's time for a new deal. You could imagine MJF rocking up in the front row at WrestleMania and everyone talking about him and pictures being taken just to, listen, Tony, get the deal done. I don't know that I expect that from Edge though, but certainly, I can't see any way he'll be officially on the show, because, well, how can he be officially on the show when he's under contract with WWE? But him being in the crowds, wonder what the odds are on that. Wonder what the odds are on him being shown on the show in any manner, right? Any manner whatsoever. I don't care even if it's a flipping video package, but and he's in the background. But I wonder what the odds are on him being shown at all in any manner at all in London. I have no idea. I would imagine that they're very small. Right, I've got to do this, because I said we were going to blast down, and this is what happened during the flipping wrestling escape pods. I ran out of time. Richard Jr. said the one who will show up at AEW All In is the one that everyone's voting for, and that is Goldberg. Let's go. Party time. Party in the UK. Gonna put my hands up, play my song. Butterflies fly away. Yeah. Party in the UK. Right. So, Aussie Open against MJF and Adam Cole, baby. I am definitely leaning Aussie Open. Reason being because I'm thinking this makes just drama for the main event. If MJF and Adam Cole win the tag titles, isn't the main event just going to be a bit of a loving? I don't know. For me, I feel like the main events should have some real gritty to it, I mean, we all remember Stone Cold and Bret Hart and, him being in the sharpshooter and the bloods and the animosity between them. We all remember Hogan, Andre. I mean, this is the biggest paid attended wrestling show of all time. And so when we're talking about things like Hogan, Andre, I don't think that's crazy to be talking about stuff like that, So to have it main evented by MJF and Adam Cole, who are currently BFFs, is a little strange, right? It's not like we've never seen it before. It's not like we haven't seen two people that get along main eventing, immediately. I think Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, they were two baby faces, main evented WrestleMania 6. And it was a big show, but I don't think MJF Adam Cole are quite Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. So I'm thinking that this first match is gonna see finally the split up in the friendship, which then adds some spice, some extra spice to that main event. I could be wrong. They could win the tag titles. But I don't know. For me personally, I would be looking and hoping for some extra spice in that main event. And so I'm going to go Aussie Open. Then we get to the actual main card because that's just the prelim. So then we got FTR against Young Bucks. I'm gonna go quite shocking here. I'm going to say FTR. Right, and the reason why that's shocking is because Cash Wheeler has just decided to go, shooting up the neighborhoods. Not really, but you get my point. And so a lot of people are expecting FTR to lose because Cash is going to have to deal with the fallout of this. I think that we've got another show next week, right? I'm sure they're going to be on that. I think there's a chance they might lose it there. They could lose the titles here, win them back next week. Could do that. I wouldn't do that, though. It's a bit messy. They could just manage to get past Young Bucks here, give them a big win, but then ultimately they lose it next week, Or maybe they manage to keep hold of the titles and we're just going to weather through whatever this legal storm is, because I'd imagine it's a little bit off in the distant future anyway. Like, I don't know that it's going to necessarily affect things immediately. Right? I don't know that it's going to affect things within the next couple of months. So we'll have to see kind of what comes of it. The Young Bucks, I don't subscribe to them and like wanting to bury everyone and all that. I don't subscribe to that. I think that they have been put over a lot of people. But I also think that when it gets to some of this magnitude, some of this stage, I think the Young Bucks are willing to take the L, and I think that they would be willing to allow FTR to have their moment, because this is the biggest platform for both of these teams. But the Young Bucks have performed at Wrestle Kingdoms before, which is still a big show. And I know, I can't remember if Revival ever made it to a WrestleMania. I certainly can't remember them having a banging tag match at WrestleMania. I don't even know if they made it. So, they've done some takeovers, but it's not quite the same. So, this is the biggest stage for both of these teams, of course. I think the Young Bucks would be willing to allow FTR to have their moments, because, there's going to be many more moments in the future. And it sort of feels like FTR deserve this moment because they've been so good. They've been undeniably the best tag team in the world for me. So I am going to go against the grain here. I think the majority are going to predict the Bucks. I'm going to go FTR. Shida, Toni Storm, Saraya, Britt Baker. I really am not sure here because it could be Saraya and then she drops it next week. I'm really into this stuff's happening on this show that's going to connect to next week's show. I'm really into that because I just think you've got to build next week's show. So I think there's a chance Saraya wins in front of her fellow countrymen and women, and then she drops the title next week. Maybe she wins it here and we do the rematch between her and Shida All In, and then Shida just wins it back. Maybe we do something like that. I can't see Toni Storm getting it. Britt Baker's got a chance, but to be honest, why would you not go with Saraya? Why would you not give Saraya that moment in front of her countrymen and countrywomen? I don't know why you wouldn't do that, because all you got to do is just put her in a match next week and she can drop it. So I'm gonna go Saraya. I'll go Saraya. Darby Allin and Sting against Mogul Embassy. Again, I know we've got next week, but I think that Sting is doing his Joker thing, which is fun. And Darby wants revenge for Nick Wayne and still wants to get his hands on these two. It's a coffin match. It's Darby's match. It's like Undertaker having a buried alive match. That's Undertaker's match. This is Darby's match. I'm gonna go with this new Joker version of Sting, which we have seen before, but I don't think in AEW. And Darby, I'm gonna go Sting Darby picking up the victory. Then we've got Golden Elite against Bullet Club, 6-man tag, and Takeshita. This is really difficult. Because I sort of feel like the Golden Elite winning and Kenny winning and like New Japan, like I know that Juice and Jay White are New Japan as well, but like Kenny Omega, like Kota Ibushi. I mean, we're talking about like massive names there. I don't think Juice Robinson, I don't believe was ever IWGP champion. Switchblade was. But Kota was. Kenny was. I feel like it could be Golden Elite, but But Bullet Club Golds are such a good team. I love Juice Robinson and Jay White. And, you know, do you just pull the trigger on them? Do you get behind them and give them this massive moment? I think this is one of the hardest ones to predict, to be honest. But I'm going to go Golden Elite. This is all elite wrestling. It's their biggest show, and you've got the Golden Elite. So I've got to think that the Elite get the win. But, I mean, there's just not really much that I can base that on. I haven't got much of a call on that. I think it's a hard one to predict, that one. Then we've got Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, Penta, and to be announced, taking on the Blackpool Combat Club and 3 TBAs. This is Stadium Stampede. It'd be great if Blackpool Combat Club do a little vignette in Blackpool, wouldn't it? Nothing's stopping them. It's a good few hours from London, but I mean, what's that? Do you know what I mean? Like, you could easily get there, get a plane to Blackpool Airport from London, take about 10 minutes, 15 minutes on a plane. So it's a few hours away. And they could easily do some vignettes. That would be interesting. I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, and Best Friends, just because I know that Tony Khan loves Orange Cassidy. And everyone in the world loves Eddie Kingston, apart from Claudio. But did you see that AEW video game thing? It was really good. So you had Tony, and can we just say as well, right? I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but there's so much to talk about. Have you seen that Stadium Stampede mode on the new AEW game? Oh my God, it looks amazing. It looks flipping amazing. I think it's like, so what I think it is, because I still don't quite know, but it looks to me like you can just go around a stadium fighting. Like, you can go in the offices, pitch, in the stands. I saw Eddie Kingston riding a horse through the chairs, and all the chairs were flying everywhere as he's riding this horse. I saw them fighting in like a bar area. It looks like a whole stadium is accessible, and you can fight around this stadium, right? And I think it's a bit like Fortnite online, loads of people just battling. Like, you know, you can go online with 50 other people and just battle away inside this Stadium Stampede. Very Fortnite, last person wins. Last person standing is victorious. What a clever idea. Honestly, and that game has been kicked a lot because of like the glitching and how long it took and how over budget it was. And I think some of the reviews are a bit mixed. Like, I've seen a 6 out of 10. I've seen a 9 out of 10 as well. But I think a lot of people have kind of settled in a similar area as me, which is good idea. The engine's built. I'm sure once we polish it up, it's going to be amazing. So I think this year was teething troubles. Next year or 2 years' time, when they've, fixed all the glitches, improved what they need to improve, they've got the foundation in place now. I'm sure what's going to follow is going to be amazing, right? But I saw this Stadium Stampede mode and I was like, oh my God, that looks so much fun. It looks like Fortnite for wrestling fans. And just the ability to go wandering around a stadium. I love stadiums. So I would probably just be getting killed as I'm just going, where does this room go? Oh, the changing. I'm in the changing rooms. I can't believe this. If I go up these stairs, do I get to the bar? I'm in the bar. Oh, can I pour a drink? I can't. I'd just be doing that, and then someone would come in and I'm like, you know what I mean? Probably Cash Wheeler with a gun. Oh, do you think Cash Wheeler's got a gun in that game? So yeah, Stadium Stampedes, that mode on the game looked pretty cool. So I'm going to go Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, Penta, and TBA. Who's the TBA? Could be quite exciting. Could be quite exciting, couldn't it? What if it's not announced, but it's a surprise on the show? If I'm Tony, I mean, that's a great opportunity to go and get like a name, go and get a surprise. You know what I mean? I don't know who I would want in that. Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, and Penta. I don't think I'm picking up the phone to get a Carter. Mate, I don't know if you can get Vikingo, though. Yeah? If you can't have Phoenix, might be able to get Vikingo. Don't think people will be too down on that. I think he's managed to catch people's attention. Right, then we've got the final 3 matches. So we got Will Ospreay against Chris Jericho. Little strange. Little bit strange. I mean, it's got to be Will Ospreay, surely. It's got to be Will Ospreay, and one of the best wrestlers, if not the best wrestler in the world right now, taking on an old man. Like, it's got to be Will Ospreay. Then we got CM Punk against Samoa Joe. I'm guessing CM Punk. Can't see Samoa Joe winning this real world championship. I like Joe. I mean, look, this is a blast from the past, innit? Very much so. But CM Punk is the draw, man. But saying that, he's going to be the draw as long as he's on the show. He doesn't have to be the real world champion. As long as CM Punk's name is on the card, you're going to get X amount of people tuning into it or buying tickets. Doesn't really matter if he's opening the show, closing the show, or where he is on that card. So he doesn't necessarily have to be the champion. It could be that Samoa Joe gets it, but I'm going to say CM Punk wins, right? And then main event, MJF Adam Cole. MJF. I don't see any way Adam Cole wins that. MJF is, you know, obviously one of the biggest things in the company. You could make the same argument of, well, he doesn't have to have the title. You know, MJF is a draw, whether he's opening the card, closing the card. It's a fair argument. It's a fair argument. But I am still going to go with MJF winning. I think that MJF has still got a lot to achieve. He's still young. He's still growing and building his brand. And even though his main event in this show, and even though he's the champion, and even though it feels like he's, you know, not done everything you can do, but, you know, he's really ticked a lot of boxes, I think being on a show like this is one thing, but the amount of people that are going to watch this show, he needs to pick up the win. There will be people that watch this show that are just casual fans, that maybe don't watch religiously every week, that maybe have seen a bit of MJF but not been exposed to a load of MJF. Because this is such a big show that, you know, I could see people tuning in to go, right, let's see what AEW are doing then. And MJF Adam Cole being the main event, like, both of these guys have never been on a stage like this. Neither of these guys have been, well, clearly on a show this big, right? And also headlining a show of this size. So both would benefit from winning this main event, right? Both are benefiting by being in this main event, but both would benefit by winning it as well. So I think that you go with MJF. If you have to pick as to who you're going to back to, like, you know, leave with the victory on a show of this scale, surely you repay MJF after all the years of work that he's put into AEW and all the moments that he's provided. This is the payback. You could make the argument him main eventing is the payback. You could make that argument. But I think that Adam Cole, you know, he's dealt with his injury situation. He's managed to overcome that. He's come back. This is a big stage and big opportunity for him. But he hasn't done the same amount of work that MJF has done in AEW. Adam Cole was in NXT for a while. Then he came over. Then he was a bit inactive. Obviously, then he was out for a long time with an injury. He's kind of come back and found himself in this position quite quickly, actually. Quite quickly. So, I don't know. I just think that I would repay MJF a little for what he's done for the company. The amount of hype he's brought and whatever. And I'd just be like, you're going over. You can have the win. You can stand tall and, you know, get the victory at Wembley. Whether he keeps that title next week, don't forget, you know, he might get through All In, but he might not get past All Out. So he could cheat here and upset Adam Cole, which then maybe leads to a rematch, or someone, you know, MJF wins and then a new challenger arrives after, which then sets up an immediate match for a week later. MJF could get past Adam Cole, and then Goldberg could arrive and go, MJF, you're next. And then we get MJF Goldberg, maybe, I don't know, for the next show a week later. So I'm going to go MJF and CM Punk and Will Ospreay for the final three. So there we go. We got there. We did it. I said I was going to do something, and I did it. What a time to be alive. What we haven't done is we haven't had a chance to jump into the chat and actually break down the card that we're watching tonight. So we do need to do that. So I want to make sure, is this the correct one? I think it is. There we go. So this is tonight's cards, pretty stacked. This, of course, is the go-home show tonight. We've only got 4 minutes until we're going over to the start of this show. So we've got Swerve and AR Fox taking on Darby Allin and Nick Wayne. So we've got that coming up tonight, apparently. Little bit similar to what we're getting. In fact, some of these matches are a bit similar to what we're getting at the weekend. So Swerve and AR Fox against Darby and Sting is the match at All In. Yet we're getting Swerve, AR Fox against Darby and Nick Wayne tonight. It's a bit weird. Then we've got the Elite taking on Juice Robinson and the Guns. Okay, that's a bit different because obviously it's Kenny and Hangman and Kota against Bullet Club Gold and Takeshita. So that one's a little different. Then we've got Aussie Open against the Hardys defending their Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Could you imagine if they lost them? If they lost them tonight, would that then make it MJF Adam Cole against the Hardys? I don't think the Hardys are on the card, are they? Thinking about it, I don't remember reading the Hardys name. So could we see a title change? Could we see a title change there? Because I feel like you want the Hardys on that card. I don't know, man. Aussie Open are a very credible team, though, aren't they? Very, very credible. But I wonder if you do a last-minute little switcheroo here just to get the Hardys on the cards. I don't know. Unless I missed them. John Moxley against the man that the UK won't allow in, Ray Phoenix. I don't know why we're not letting him in. Has he got like some sort of criminal past or something? Is he some sort of criminal mastermind? Why are we not letting him in? I haven't actually heard why we're not letting him in. I heard it's visa issues, but what I wonder what the issue is. Jack Perry is going to retire the FTW Championship. Can't say I'm bothered about losing that, to be honest, but it might not get that far. Someone might interrupt, but if we do say goodbye to that championship, I don't think it's the end of the world. Renee Paquette speaks with Adam Cole Bebe, and Renee Baguette speaks with AEW World Champion MJF. Sky Blue versus Ruby Soho. FTR and Young Bucks face-to-face interview. Makes sense. Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay contract signing. So that's what we've got coming up. And we are going over to the show in 40 seconds. 40 seconds for the go home episode of AEW Dynamite as we're building towards All In London. Daniel said, I think cracks will happen in the tag match, but they will still be on good terms. I think MJF has been a huge success as a face. I think as a result of that, Cole will be the one that turns. James said, is Dynamite pre-recorded or is it live? I think it's live. I mean, certainly they've got enough time to get over to London after. So I think it's live. Okay, here we go. We are going over to the show. Let's turn it up a little bit. Vinny Jones should be a guest commentator. Godfather's host said, I'm calling it now. At All Out, it's going to be Will Ospreay and Sammy Guevara. Mark my words. I like this. We open with a graphic for Terry Funk. It's actually a moving graphic. It's got like a moving background. Look good. WWE tends to just put up like still images. That's that moving background look cool. Okay, Dynamite. All in London this Sunday. Fight Forever Stadium Stampede. Apparently this is Fighter Fest this week, is it? Why is this Fighter Fest? Right, we're seeing where are we? GA? What's GA? Is that Georgia? Georgia, maybe? Tonight is Fighter Fest, apparently. We're kicking off with the Bucks and Kenny. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Super kick party. I mean, you've got to say, it's amazing what they've done. I remember seeing these guys. I saw Kenny and the Bucks in Wolverhampton when they came over and competed on Fight Club Pro, which was Trent Seven's promotion. And I mean, oh man, some of the shows that he was putting on were incredible. You know, you had like Gunther, Miko Satomura, just some amazing names. And they managed to get Kenny and the Bucks for one of the shows. And honestly, it was standing room only. Like, this venue could hold 500 people, had 1,000 people in it. It was so over capacity. It was literally standing room only. It was a health and safety nightmare. But I remember that was, I don't know, 2016, 2017 that I went and saw them. And to think about, like, you know, what they've done since then, and, you know, the AEW and how they've been, like, you know, a driving force within it. And obviously, you know, executive vice presidents and all the fallout with CM Punk. And it's just been a mental, like, 4 or 5 years for them. So crazy. They have definitely left their mark on the history of wrestling, haven't they? You know? Whatever happens from here, I mean, they've definitely left their mark on wrestling. Right, we are underway with this opening match then. It's Omega and the Bucks taking on the Guns and Switchblade. Is it Switchblade? No, Juice Robinson. Switchblade is out there, though. Do love Bullet Club Golds. I don't get a chance to watch them because they're on Collision, but I love Juice Robinson anyway. He's so charismatic, and the chair is took away. So he was gonna use the chair. Oh, the referee's been knocked down. So Juice Robinson wallops the referee. Referee goes down. Double super kicks by the Bucks. Loving the Guns ring gear. Don't know if they wear this often, but clearly channeling their inner Shawn Michaels. They look great. So the Guns in HBK-inspired gear. Kenny is still on the outside. It's the Bucks down in the corners. The Guns with Nick Jackson. Planting Nick Jackson. Guns are in control. It's a hot, exciting start to this. I mean, we're meant to be having a match, but the ref is still down. Super kick coming back by Matt Jackson. Another super kick there by Matt Jackson. In comes Switchblades. It is just a million miles an hour at the moment. Matt Jackson planted. Now Kenny's getting in. Kenny and Switchblades. Switchblade goes out the ring, kick to the midsection there by one of the Guns. I still don't know which gun is which. One of the Guns charging over, collides into the corner. Snapdragon, boom! Snapdragon by Kenny. And now another Gun's coming in. Oh my God. Against the ropes. Kenny looking for another Snapdragon and he gets it. Now we've got Switchblade coming in. It's just a never-ending carousel of people getting in and out the ring here. The Young Bucks are in. The Young Bucks are out. Kenny is in. Kenny is out. Switchblade's in. Switchblade's out. It's just that the Guns are in. The Guns are out. Now we got one of the Guns. Then we got another Gun. Referee's down. Kenny going against the ropes. Big clothesline. Here's Takesh. Now Takeshita's in. Oh my God, it's exhausting just trying to keep up with what's going on here. Got Guns and the Bucks on the outside of the ring. This is just a brawl. It's just a brawl. It's just a big, everyone's fighting everywhere. I'm down for Jay versus Kenny, said Mitchell. Travis said Outlaw Mud Show. Christopher said need a faction. Who's with me? Who's FTR. FTR making their way down. Here's Gun Wielder and Dax Harwood. Shots coming in there by Dax. Again, fighting all the way up the entrance stage. Got Kenny in the ring. Here's Takeshita. Takeshita having a few words with Kenny. Forearm strike there by Takeshita. And again. Oh. Big knee from Kenny. Takeshita is back on his feet. He's looking for the one-winged. Takeshita gets out of the ring. And the crowd are angry. They wanted to see that one-winged angel. Switchblade was so much of a bigger thing in New Japan than in AEW. The way they had him debut was pathetic. It didn't make it. It made him look like another talent and not one of the biggest stars in wrestling. I feel a bit sorry for him, but in a way, I suppose we're still just starting. I mean, I've got to say, Bullet Club Gold is great. I've got to say that they've got that right. Right, Renee speaks with AEW World Champion MJF next. Renee Baguette is backstage. Okay, here we go. Sat down. You're a busy man. You got lots going on. We're taking over Wembley, says Renee. 80,000 fans. I can't get enough of people chanting my name. I'm the 2023 version of the British Bulldog. If he was Jewish and a good public speaker. Cheer on your favorite chav. Wembley, 80,000. I can't believe that schmuck is making me wrestle twice. How much pressure are you feeling? It's immense amount of pressure. It's the most pressure I've ever been under in my life. I'm about to be the biggest headliner in the history of professional wrestling. This is very good from MJF. It's very good because he is elevating himself in a way he's elevated himself in a way where it just sort of makes it seem like he's paying respect to people in the past. You know, he's talking about being the biggest headliner in the history of wrestling. He's like, that's insane, but I couldn't do this without the legends of the past, you know. Those that came before me and allowed me to be in this position. The John Cenas, the Rocks, the Stone Cold. Like, he is inserting his name amongst those names. It's very clever. It's very clever. We're seeing last week and 4 weeks ago some of the tensions that have arisen between these two at different moments. But MJF is too small for WWE, says AB Jobson. Cole is skinnier than Britt. Do you think Ed shows up at All In? No. Adam has made me a better person, says MJF. Adam's not just my friend, he's my brother. AEW lies about everything. Let's see if they really announce the attendance. Think about the worst thing you've ever done in your life. I've probably done that at least twice, says MJF. I don't like him as a face. I don't like MJF as a face. I know that it's done well in the ratings and people enjoy it. I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. Everything he says, I just don't believe. I can't wait to do it with my best friends. I just don't believe any of it. I just don't think he makes a good face because I don't buy it. I don't believe it. But maybe that's part of the story, you know, that he's a heel. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Like, he's a heel in his heart who is trying to be a face or pretend to be a face. And so with it coming across like I don't really believe it, like that's all part of it, you know. It's definitely interesting stuff they're doing. I mean, you've got to give them praise. One of the big criticisms we've had of AEW over recent times has been that there's not enough engaging stories. And this story with Adam Cole has been very, very good. Very, very good. It's definitely caught people's attention. It hasn't necessarily got Dynamite up to like the 900,000 mark consistently, but we've seen them go to Collision and bump the ratings on Collision. Moxley's coming out now. Mitchell said, fun fact, Moxley signs every water bottle he throws. Does he? That is a fun fact. That woman looks like Rihanna. Yeah, there's that is a fun fact. That's cool. I like little details like that. Where are we with? I haven't seen where we are with the poll as Moxley's coming out. So 31% think that Edge will be there. 25% think Goldberg. 11% think both. 34% so someone else. I think there's a really good chance you see Mercedes Moné. I think she's got to have been. I mean, he will have spoke to her. The only thing that will stop her is her injury. It's the only thing I can think that would stop Mercedes from being there. We've got Jericho and Ospreay contract signing tonight. We've got FTR and Young Bucks face-to-face interview tonight. Renee's going to sit down with Adam Cole Bay tonight. Swerve Strickland, AR Fox against Darby Allin and Nick Wayne. And also Sky Blue versus Ruby Soho. We got Aussie Open against the Hardys. John Moxley and Ray Phoenix coming up next. So let's change this graphic over. Moxley. Okay. Anyone who can't watch AEW, please message me. Are people struggling to watch AEW tonight? Big Time said PW Torch phrased it. Belief within WWE is his AEW bounds. They reported LA Knight had backstage heat. Drew sitting out his contract. Is it far-fetched to think the news is to generate more buzz for AEW? Yeah, I don't think they're doing it to generate buzz for AEW. I think that they have found out some news. So what I believe has happened is they've found out legitimately that a contract has been declined or an offer has been declined. But as we said earlier, that is big news because potentially it could indicate that WWE are not willing to completely bend over backwards to keep Edge. It could be that, you know, he's at an age now where the amount of money that he's asking for compared to what WWE feel he is bringing in is, you know, maybe they think that, oh, it's, you know, if we do keep him, we are going to actually be losing money here, you know? Or really, we're only keeping him so that AEW don't get him because of the amount that he's wrestling. And the fact that when he is on the shows, we don't actually see a bump in ratings. And maybe his merch is doing all right. I mean, I've never heard him be the #1 merch seller or be anywhere close. I think maybe when he came back at the Rumble, he might have been. But it seems to be Bloodline Roman. I think LA Knight's doing well now. I haven't really heard much about like Edge killing it on the merch. So I don't know. I think they found out that the contract got declined, if you will. The offer, what he wants, has been rejected, and so yeah, you know, they probably have spoke to some wrestlers, or there is a belief that could be it. But equally, that belief might only be shared amongst the wrestlers that don't really know what's going on. That belief might not be from Vince. When they say there's a belief in WWE, I never think they're talking about Triple H or Vince or Nick Khan or anyone that's important. Like, the belief in WWE, I would think, comes from cameramen or the makeup woman, or, like, you know, Akira Tozawa or Dolph Ziggler. Do you know what I mean? Like, people that are not going to be in the room when the negotiations are actually happening. Like, no one that's got any kind of say on the matter or holds any sort of power. I never think that they're the ones that are commenting, ever, because they're just above that, aren't they? So the belief in WWE is, you know, the guy that tears the ring down at the end of the evening, he thinks there's a chance Edge might go now. Right? But he could, you know, it has been this often. I do believe that there's been a contract that's been rejected by WWE. I do believe that. So I don't think it's done to promote AEW. I don't think that the PW Torch are doing that. I just think that they found this out. They're reporting it, and I think that I think even the belief in WWE could be true. But yeah, I don't know. That's it's a really interesting comment because we never touched on that. I think I took it for granted that people would sort of presume the same thing, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong to presume that sometimes. It's an interesting conversation. I never, when it comes to belief in I never think they're talking about Triple H, Nick Khan, anyone with any sort of power. I always think it's the guy that tears the ring down, or it's the makeup woman, or it's the security guard that ensures no one comes through the back door, or do you know what I mean? Going around the locker room. But Dolph Ziggler ain't going to be in the room when the negotiations are being sorted, so you know he doesn't know any more than what we know, unless he's had a heart-to-heart with Edge and actually sat down with Edge and gone, what's the situation, you know? A lot of these guys don't want to talk about their contracts, you know. It's a bit of a taboo subject, so I don't think the boys really talk about that kind of stuff, because, like, how much such and such is earning and what they're earning and what their dates are and all of that. I mean, all of that breeds jealousy, professional jealousy. Like, I don't think that's something that gets spoke about. So I wouldn't really trust the rumors to be too accurate going around the locker room. We're underway with this Phoenix Moxley match. PW Torch can easily backtrack with the statement if it comes out to be false. They matched it now. Sap on his stream said he asked people and he will look into it. Well, I have to disagree. I don't think they can easily backtrack, because this was big news and it's gone everywhere. And I think that PW Torch is not someone that I see coming out with news of this magnitude of contract, whatever. I think that ruins their reputation. I really do. Maybe not completely. Maybe it's not like completely trashed. But after today, there's going to be enough people that don't normally interact with PW Torch that are going to know about PW Torch, you know? I mean, it's the first thing you look at, innit? As soon as you see a bit of news like this, you go straight to who's the source, where's it come from? And as soon as I saw PW Torch, I've got a little bit of faith in them, right? I don't have as much faith as a Sean Ross Sapp, but I've got enough faith whereby I will bring it to the stream. I will do a video on it. Like, I've got enough confidence in them, that enough goodwill, enough belief in them that I will do that. If this turns out to be fake, I won't look to do that again. I've got no interest in, like, talking about stuff that's fake news. I've got no interest in talking about just complete rubbish. I could go onto Facebook and just find a million things that get said that's just complete nonsense. But I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time. So I only want to be talking about legitimate things, you know? So right now, they've got my faith and I trust them, and we'll talk about what they say. If this turns out to be a load of rubbish, that's going to hurt their reputation. It has to hurt their reputation. It has to. They've gone big. They've put their balls on the table. And so next time we'll know not to trust them. But I could see it happening. I could definitely say, I could see Edge saying, I want 20 million or something. You know, it's a little bit like when you're selling something. You know, if you sell something at like a garage sale or whatever, you put on the, you know, your opening gambit is big, in it. Your opening thing is big. What the price on the ticket is big because you are expecting to negotiate it down. You are expecting either, you know, if I was to do a car boot sale and I was selling a figure, I might put, you know, and it's worth, say, I want £15 for it. I'll put 20 on the ticket because I'm totally expecting someone to go, will you take 12? Well, I can't do 12. I can't go from 20 to 12. I can do 15. All right, then. You know, that's what I'm expecting. So it could be that this is legit and the Edge has gone in and gone, I want 20 million. And they've gone, you can't have 20 million. We can't do that. And then the counter offer is going to come back with, you know, here's 5. Here's 5. And you can have all the WWE DVDs you want. Anyone, just name it. You can have it. In fact, we'll send you one a month. No, whatever, it's all part of your contract. Whilst you're under contract, you can have a free WWE DVD a month. But yeah, you know, it could totally be that. It could totally be that he's gone in big and it now gets negotiated down. Still underway with this match. I don't really know why we're doing this match. I don't know if there's a backstory to this match. At the moment, Phoenix is all bent over. He's trying to get, using the ropes to get back up to his feet. Moxley looking to charge over, and he does charge over as Phoenix moves out the way. Goes off the rope. Back kick there by Phoenix. Phoenix has got Moxley rolled through. Ooh, gets caught. Phoenix gets caught. And, middle of the ring. Oh, he rolls through, though. Double stomp by Phoenix. Crowd are into this. This has got the crowd's attention. I mean, in all fairness, that first match wasn't a match. Boom! Lovely cutter. My guess is he wants similar to Brock, but with the new TKO, maybe it wasn't okayed, said SP. Has Edge got a non-compete that will kick in and keep him on the sidelines for a while, even if the contract isn't renewed? I would imagine so. I would imagine it's just standard that there's a non-compete that's built in. Apparently his contract runs to September anyway. And so this is why we're not expecting him to be part of All In or All Out. And as we said, you know, there's a real chance that this got turned down, but it doesn't mean that Edge or WWE have walked away from the table. Doesn't mean the negotiating table is quiet. Kick out by Moxley after a big splash by Phoenix. It was close. Taz said if Phoenix was to get the win here, it would be a massive upset. Crowd are chanting, this is awesome. Headbutt by Phoenix. Moxley up on the shoulders of Phoenix. Couple of elbows coming into the side of the head of Phoenix. Moxley elbowing away. Some of them elbows don't look very good. Moxley. Double underhook roll through there by Phoenix. No, still only a 2. Kick coming in. Moxley grabbing the leg. Forearm strike. Kick to the midsection by Phoenix. Against ropes goes Phoenix. Springboards. Big shot there by Moxley as Phoenix was midair. This crowd are red hot for this. Crowd are really, really enjoying this. It's got Trick Elia vibes from last night. Crowd counting along with the ref as both guys are down at the moment. Both guys on their knees. And now we're doing the exchanging shots spot. Edge didn't put Sheamus over. He won in his hometown. He got all those video packages. He appeared on the bump 6 hours ago. Surely in return, WWE asks him to take a 3 to 6 month break before debuting in AEW. I mean, WWE can't really ask him to do... Well, they can ask him, but it ain't really their position to ask him to do anything, is it? I mean, WWE can put a non-compete clause in the contract, right? I mean, it could be there anyway. But if it's not there, they can't, like, ask him to do so. I mean, Edge ain't got a lot of time to play with anyway, has he? Listen, if WWE don't re-sign Edge, that's on WWE, innit? I got no sympathy for WWE if they don't re-sign him. We've been talking about this Edge situation for a while, and I've been saying I just don't see Edge going to AEW. I just don't see him going. Because loyalty. Loyalty. I think he'll be loyal to WWE. He loved them. He went to WrestleMania 6. You know, he grew up with them. He started with the company. He's competed with the company. He's friends, you know, the people that work there. He's part of the furniture, man. He's part of the furniture. He's been there since the Attitude Era. Like, I just can't. I can't envisage him just going, yeah, I'm going to go somewhere else now. I think he's got too much loyalty. So I didn't see him going to AEW for that reason. But WWE not re-signing him. Where's the loyalty on their part, eh? Where's their loyalty? Unless the offer is just mental. Unless he's just absolutely lost his mind and he's just asking for crazy money, which I can't see him doing, to be honest. He seems like a very reasonable guy. Moxley's picked up the win here with a submission. So, yeah, if there's a non-compete, there's a non-compete. But if there's no non-compete, that's on him then. That's on them. That's, you know. They should have re-signed him. He ain't got long to play around with. He's already told Toronto he doesn't think he'll get a chance to wrestle there again. He's already said his goodbyes to Toronto. I'll tell you the other thing, though, which we haven't really thought or spoke about, is that if WWE don't re-sign him, he might just be done with wrestling. It still doesn't mean that he's going to go to AEW, does it? Ortiz. So we've got... I don't know what's happening. Santana. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what this is. So we've got Blackpool Combat Club in the ring. I need to get my head around this. We've got Blackpool Combat Club in the ring after Moxley got the win. Then Ortiz arrived looking like some sort of safari guide. And then music played. And then Santana came out on his own. I feel like I'm being expected to remember a lot of stuff here. Like, why did Ortiz and Santana not come out together? Why was Ortiz already out there on his own? And why do I need to care that Santana came back? Like, was he injured? I'm guessing he must have been, like, badly injured or something. I sort of feel like the better way to have done that then would have been to have had Santana and Ortiz walk out together and have, like, LAX come up on the screen or, you know, whatever. Because that just, that's all that's done is made me confused. People love that match, though. And I'm guessing that means that Santana and Ortiz are going to be at All in London. Because didn't Blackpool Combat Club need some new partners? I think they did. I think that didn't they need 3 partners? Look, Phoenix is injured. Oh, guys, I don't think he's going to be able to go to. I don't think he's going to be able to make it to London now. Eddie Kingston, look, there's a lot of concern here as Phoenix is down. He's been beaten up by Blackpool Combat Club. You know, he won't make it. He won't make it. He ain't going to make it, guys. Trying to hear what Tony's saying. This is how Ray gets written out. It's now 5-on-5, says Adam. So is that what it is? So now we don't need 3 people. We just need 2. Ray Phoenix is going to get the best medical attention. We all saw how great that hospital was last week. He's going straight to that hospital. It is fun watching people pretending to be concerned and sad when you know they're just pretending to be concerned and sad. There is something very entertaining about watching, like Tony Schiavone going. It's like, oh, it's very powerful. It's got me right here. It's got me right here. He couldn't even look momentarily. There was one bit where he was like, had his head down, shaking his head. He looked up. He couldn't bring himself to look any longer. It was a glance. Oh, he had to put his head back down again. And I think, what's that? The dude, the manager, I can't remember his name. You know, Johnny Useless, whatever he's called, with the gloves. He like kicked the rope out of like frustration and anger. He looked at Phoenix, saw the situation, and he was like, oh, damn it. Oh, they've wiped Phoenix out. I would have done that, you know. I think it was so public knowledge that his visa had been declined. I think I would have just gone with his visa's been declined. Sadly, now it's going to have to be 5-on-5 rather than try to work it into an angle that we... I mean, we all know this is scripted. And I know that, like, this opens up an interesting conversation about, like, well, you know, kayfabe, where do you draw the line, whatever. I don't know. This one was so bad. It was everywhere. Everyone knows that Phoenix can't go to London because of visa issues. So this might be one that I might not have gone down that road on personally, but I'm glad we did because I got to see Tony Schiavone doing the looking up and then going, oh, I can't look. Oh. Right. I think I saw a super chat. Right. Yeah. Mitchell said Mox injured Phoenix's visa during that match. That's what they're trying to mend, actually. You think they're trying to help Phoenix. They're not. Phoenix is fine. He's just lying there next to a ripped up visa that got ripped during the match. So he's got this like broken visa, and like you've just got all these people going, I just don't know. Has anyone got any sellotape? Has anyone got any sellotape? Will blue tack do it? I don't think you can blue tack that. They ain't going to accept it ripped. They ain't going to accept it ripped, mate. And I don't. Have you got any tape? Have you got any tape? Everyone's just trying to find a way of resolving this visa issue, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Coach Code said the intricacies of quantum entanglement elucidate the profound interplay between particles, unveiling a realm of esoteric. Oh, I love that word. That's a word that I actually don't know the meaning of, but I love how it sounds esoteric. The realm of esoteric phenomena that defy conventional comprehension. Finally, a comment that finally reaches my intellectual standard. That's where I operate. If you didn't understand that, then, well, you know, maybe this isn't the stream for you. That's all I'm going to say. Esoteric, though. I want to have a look, see what that means. Esoteric. Intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. That's good, isn't it? Esoteric. Likely to only be understood by a small number of knowledgeable people in a specialist area. How would you use it in a... How would you use that in a sentence? Esoteric philosophical debates. Here's Renee. Did you see what your husband did? Get out my face. Did you see what your husband did? She's like, yeah, I saw what he did. I like that. You want me to fix it? And she's like, I don't want you to fix it. He's like, I'll fix it at Wembley. I'll fix it at Wembley. Listen, I've said this before. I wish they would use the fact that she's... Well, is she there now? Oh, earlier today. Good. I think that they should play into the fact that she is John Moxley's wife. Is Daddy Magic? Chris isn't who you think he is. I've known him since day one of Dynamite. I told Chris I'm always going to have his back. It's always Sammy that's there for his friend, but is your friend going to be there for you? I see her walks away. Renee's looking lovely today, by the way. Kingston, Santana, Ortiz used to be boys. Right, we're in the ring. I think Tony's pulled himself together. They need to fire whoever's in production tonight. They just threw him into the ambulance. It was so sloppy, said Lance. Yeah, but that's a Visa ambulance. It's not really for Phoenix. It's an ambulance to try and repair his visa. We've got a New Japan logo being displayed as William Ospreay is making his way down with Don Callis. Will Ospreay has got a United Empire shirt on. Ospreay in the ring. We've got a few security guards in there. It's going to be a contract signing now. It's going to be the Jericho Ospreay contract signing. Booze for Don Callis. Chris Jericho making his way down. Right. Contract signing. Ospreay looks like he just got off a video game session. I tell you what, there's so many people in this country that look like Ospreay. He's just so typical. He looks like he's come off like a, you know, a building site. Just doing a bit of work down the old building site. I kind of feel like you could go into pretty much any Weatherspoons pub, like at about 6 o'clock, and you could find about 50 Will Ospreays. He does look quite. He looks very English. Let's put it that way. It's that not really making much of an effort. That's what I subscribe to as well. You can always tell an Englishman because they don't really make much of an effort unless they're like posh English, and then they make too much of an effort. If you're like middle or lower class, you don't really make much of an effort. If you're posh, like, you know, Prince Charles, like, you know what I mean, high flyer, then you make too much of an effort. That's the guide to being British. Right. Sammy Guevara has come down with why I did what I did last week. Now booze. It's real simple. The reason why I did what I did can be summed up in 4 words. Will, by God, Ospreay. Shut the F up, Chance. Don Callis struggling to be heard here. Struggling to be heard. He's got that Dominic Mysterio heat. Look at that woman in the front row, man, in pink. She's proper into it. Like, she's not just shouting, shut the F up. She's actually jumping up and down while saying it. I chose money and power over our friendship, said Don Callis. Let Ospreay talk, you clown, says Heather. This bald guy reminds me of Hardcore Holly, said Samantha. This Sunday at Wembley, I will be in Will Ospreay's corner. Ospreay's going to get such an amazing reaction, though, isn't he? I mean, they're trying to position Ospreay as the heel here, but Ospreay's from England. Shut your mouth. Let me talk, yeah? Are you taking this match seriously, or is this some kind of vanity project? In the entire of the UK? Do you know what Wembley Stadium is, bruv? It's the biggest stadium in the entire of the UK. Here's some news. This match changes my life, bruv. Why is he trying to make out like he's got no money? I'll be the only man that can say he beat Okada, Omega, and Jericho all in the past 2 months. Oh, his contract's up for New Japan, is it? WWE probably just went... Sorry, what? Hasn't he always said, though, that he doesn't want to leave Japan? I'm better than Danielson. I'm better than Danielson. I'm better than Punk, and I'm better than you. I mean, he is. Ospreay can go on the mic, man, can't he? All your championships, all your legacy, it's nothing but rocket fuel for me and my future. Brilliant. That's amazing from Ospreay, innit? Let's talk about your future. I don't think you would have accomplished what you've accomplished if it wasn't for me. 5 years ago. I called you 5 years ago. I told you 5 years ago to tone it down. Because everyone was predicting that you would end up in a wheelchair like your hero, the Dynamite Kids. Damn, man. This is a great segment. Great from Ospreay. And this response from Jericho as well. This is a great segment. This match was meant to happen in 2021 at the Tokyo Dome. Don't tell me this is a vanity project. This is bigger than any WrestleMania. This is bigger than any Tokyo Dome. I've got to be the best Chris Jericho. I feel like wrestling's always at its best when there's a little truth in there, you know? I mean, Jericho's talking about how people are trying to knock him down. People on social media are trying to put him down. Everyone's predicting his demise. This is not a vanity project. This is the biggest match of his career on the biggest stage, bigger than any WrestleMania, bigger than any Wrestle Kingdom. I believe he called him as well 5 years ago. I mean, I believe all of that is true. So putting in that little bit of truth it's just brilliant. This is a brilliant segment. Oh, and he's just snatched the microphone away. He's heard enough here. He's heard enough. Will Ospreay gets knocked down. Do you know what I'd love to see? I want to see the security actually keep these apart now. I don't want to see that stupid thing in wrestling where the wrestlers are more powerful than like 10 security guards. We want to see these two go. Well, if you want to see them go, you tune into All In. And do you know what? The security guards have actually done it. 6 security guards have managed to separate these two. It's brilliant. I don't know. I don't think there was anything about that I would change. I thought it was really good. Really, really good. Put Tony through a table? Oh, I'd do that. You're right. AR1. Yeah, you called it. Tony should have gone through the table. That would have made it better. In fact, that's all they should have done. Will Ospreay should have come out. He should have put Tony Schiavone through the table, walked off. Goat segment. AEW security looking act more tough. Yeah, that is the frustration. Like, I am so over seeing, like, what do you remember Cody? Cody and Brock, and Cody managed to get through on his own about 20 security guards. It just looks so stupid and phony and fake. It just looks rubbish. It's not believable. That I'm fine with like wrestlers being like, you know, respected and protected, and you know they're meant to be bigger, stronger, faster than the average person. Of course they are, right? These are fighting machines. But like seeing them trash 20 odds, there is a line. There's a line. So, and that goes well over that line. So seeing that there, 6 security guards able to just keep these two apart. Lovely. Lovely. I love the promos. I love what Ospreay had to say. Talking about how Wembley Stadium is the biggest arena in all of the UK. And talking, did you know that? Did you know that? I feel like he, in my mind, I think he went bigger. In his mind, I think he wanted to say, you know, it's the biggest like stadium in the world. Like, do you know, we're main eventing the biggest stadium in the world? And I think as he was talking, he had to go, it's not. Let's knock it down. Is it Europe? No, it's not even Europe. You've got Barcelona's football ground. I'll go UK. I'll have to go UK. It's not world. It's not Euro. I'll go UK. It's the biggest stadium in all of the UK. But it doesn't matter. It's still a very big stadium. I wish it was bigger. When they rebuilt it, I remember desperately wanting it to be 100,000 capacity. I love stadiums. So I can't wait for like Man United to get a new stadium. And I hope that's going to be 100,000 as well. So we don't have a 100,000 seater stadium in the UK. Wembley is the biggest. Will Ospreay is correct. But yeah, 90,000 it can seat. It's interesting actually that this isn't more people, like it's 80,000. It's interesting they don't go to 90. That does make me think there's going to be a big stage. Because the seats all around the edge, it can hold 90,000. You get 90,000 for like when England play football. That holds 90,000. So 80,000 would suggest, and that's going to be with people sat on the floor as well. It would suggest there's going to be sections that are going to be roped off for some reason. 80,000 is an amazing achievement, right? I'm just saying that it can go higher. But yeah, great segment. Really great segment. We're with Adam Cole and Renee. Coach Coat said the flockinusification. Hello. Oh, slight. I thought there was something they were doing on the show there. It just kind of the picture went and came back again. The whatever left the quizzically befuddled Quocus pondering intergalactic cheese fluctuations. We've gone back to just things I don't know anymore now. Coach Coat, shout out to you, my friends. Good luck with that. The Glazers aren't going anywhere, said James. I thought they were. Wasn't it earlier today news that the takeover had been accepted? Oh, 3 hours ago, sale no closer to being complete. I didn't see that. I saw the news from earlier today that the takeover looked like it was looking good. Okay, Adam Cole said, I don't want to win the match. I need to win the match. Roderick Strong and the Kingdom have been questioning you as a friend. So this is going back to the end of June where Adam Cole says that he knows he can't trust MJF. Here's MJF. So they're just showing Adam Cole some moments from the past to get his reaction. It's an interesting thing to do, isn't it? And then last Wednesday, Adam Cole. Why does Renee keep looking at us? So they're showing the TV in the background, and Renee is looking like that, and then she just keeps going. Perhaps she thinks that we're being ignored or something, I don't know. Oh, Adam Cole's upset. Adam Cole is upset, baby. Is it that hard? I'm going to say this one time. There are no issues with me and Max. That means there are issues with him and Max. That's how wrestling works. So, no issue. He's very upset. Very upset. Here's Darby Allin. What takeover are you talking about? The Saudi takeover. No, the Qatari takeover. The news came out last night, was it? That he'd won the race and it was going to be accepted in October. So it was done. Accepted. Game over. New owners. Start celebrating. But seemingly 3 hours ago, there was a thing saying that the deal is no closer to being completed. Okay, here's the embassy. Are they just called the embassy now, are they? Darby and Nick Wayne versus AR Fox and Swerve. Let's go. Maybe Renee is being an actress. God bless her. God bless her. She just, I mean, it's a lovely thing to do. She's just checking in on us. You know? She's just, she doesn't want to just watch the TV screen and ignore us. She's being a good presenter. That's what she's doing. Just doing that every now and again. That was my favorite part of that last segment. Was watching Renee command the room. Right, we are underway with the action. And there was a belly to back suplex off the... Is it the middle turnbuckle? Now we've got Swerve, AR Fox there in control. Wow. I haven't actually seen much of AR Fox, you know. I haven't seen much of AR Fox at all, but it looks pretty cool. Oh, Nick Main. So I was going to say, who's that woman? Some woman that's like shouting at him here. That's Nick Wayne's mom. Nick Wayne over. Big boot there by AR Fox. Stay out of our business. You went to his house? Stay out of our business, even though we came to your house and attacked you. Nick Wayne planted on the edge of the ring, so Swerve and AR Fox in control. The Endeavor takeover is also taking damper because we could be facing a situation. Saving costs take priority. They spent $9 billion. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Right, we've got Darby getting just caught a little bit on the edge of the ring apron there. Nick Wayne going over, middle rope. Manages to get a couple of cutters. Darby with a coffin drop to the outsides. So Darby Allin, Nick Wayne getting back into this. Don't go anywhere. When we get the Glazers out, I will throw a party, says James. Why would Jericho say that this is bigger than WrestleMania when it isn't? Well, it is in regards to the amount of people that's going to be there, you know? I mean, they can say it because if anyone comes back and says it's not bigger than WrestleMania, go, well, how many was at WrestleMania this year? Because it was an 80-odd thousand. This is now the highest attendance for, like, paid attendance in the history of wrestling, apparently. I mean, I think the Collision in Korea ones were... I don't know if those tickets were free or not, but I know there was an obligation to attend. Like, you know what North Korea's like. They wanted to show that, you know, people were interested in the wrestling and whatever. And so there was like a bit of a, you have to go along to this. I don't know how they chose which people had to go, but wrestling is not something that gets seen or shown in North Korea. So there was a lot of like people there that didn't know what they were watching, didn't know who they were watching. It's not like North Korea's got like this massive wrestling fan base, you know? So the Collision in Korea shows are very different and interesting. And even though the attendance is still going to be the biggest, because it was, I think one night was like 120,000 people in the stadium. The next night, about the same. So, I mean, there's no way AEW can beat that. That's still the biggest, most attended show, but not all of them people paid to go there. So just looking at like paid attendance, AEW are claiming this is now the biggest for paid attendance. It's going to be down to WWE now to try and get that record back. Kick coming in there by AR Fox. It is a real slap in the face to WWE. WWE that have been doing wrestling since the 1960s. And even like before that, they were an entity, but an entity within the NWA. But they've been doing it all that time. And now this company's come along and they're now going to put on the most biggest paid attended show in wrestling history. I mean, that is, oof. Imagine being the market leader in anything and seeing someone else come along and achieve that. Right. AR Fox just showing Nick Wayne's mom. Nick Wayne, who's got blood coming down his nose, I think. Coming down his face. We've just been fighting in the crowds. Suplex on the outside. I think it is coming down his nose. Aubrey 316 says that was a 2. Aubrey 316. A flip. Imagine being such a big AEW fan that you would go to a show with an Aubrey sign. Seen everything now. Seen everything. I think I've seen everything in wrestling now. All in London. Buy now. There's a QR code on screen. Dropkick there by AR Fox's Derby rolls out the ring. WWE had several events more than 80,000+. I was 103 in Texas. It was packed with no empty seats, said Jeremy. Yeah, so that show was a WrestleMania. I was saying like a WrestleMania 32 or something. So WrestleMania 32, I think the 103 is heavily disputed. I think it was actually like 90 something. And of that 90,000, only just over 80,000 actually pay to be there. I think even WWE admitted that the announced attendance of 103, which even that is believed to have been completely made up, even that was including the people that check your tickets, the people that were working behind the bar, the security staff that were around, the people that were selling the candy. Literally, if you had a heartbeat and you was in that building for any reason, if you was a delivery driver that just happened to be passing by, there's a chance that you got counted. So, paid attendance, actually people that paid to go and watch the show, AEW are claiming, and I must think that they've double checked this. I mean, it's a hell of a claim to make if you're not telling the truth. They're claiming that this is now the highest attended for paid attendance in the history of wrestling. I believe them. I do believe them. Nick Wayne is trying to get back up to his feet. Darby is down on the outside. How long we got? We got just under 50 minutes to go. Zen said Darby should be a heel. His character is getting a little bit dry. Being a stuntman will only get you so far. Real Stone said Sting versus Optimus Prime in 2013. Both are immortal. WrestleMania 36 beats all numbers, 0 in attendance. Now that is a record that AEW will never beat. Unless they don't have any commentators. But, you know, no one in attendance. 0 attendance. All you can do is match that. No one in attendance. Beat that record, AEW. Thing is, AEW are beating, like, you know, highest paid attended wrestling show ever. It's not a record that WWE care about. Not bothered about that. We're way more bothered about the no one being in attendance record. Good luck beating that one. Splash by AR Fox. Nick Wayne trying to roll up. Nick Wayne gets the pin on AR Fox. Swerve got held by Darby Allin. So AR Fox and Swerve lose. Nick Wayne's mom is very happy. Nick Wayne getting the win. I feel like his ring gear is a little bit HBK inspired. Oh, look at his mom. His mom's so proud. You can see she's like bursting with pride. There is a dude that has got an all-American wrestling t-shirt on. That is amazing. That is amazing. That's an old WWF show, All-American Wrestling. Is he crying? This is so disappointing, and by disappointing, I mean you, Fox. How come every time you get an opportunity of a lifetime, you blow it? I tried. Why are you such a loser? What's happening? Haven't they got a match on Sunday? This was a test. You can't beat an 18-year-old child. I can't trust you. Keith Lee, Keith Lee, Keith Lee, Keith Lee. Come on, get back with Keith Lee. You was a sick tag team. On behalf of the Mogul Embassy, AR Fox, you're fired. AR Fox has been fired. Oh, Brian Cage. Oh, I don't want Brian Cage. Does that mean that AR Fox... Is AR Fox not going to be is Sting and Nick Wayne and What are they coming down for? To save AR Fox? Why would they want to save AR Fox? What's going on? Why would they want to save AR Fox? Why would they come down now? Don't worry, AR Fox. We got you back, man. We've got you back. Take my hand. Okay. Well, I didn't know that. Apparently, he took him in when he was homeless. $80,000 people. Who you got? What you got? Okay, so is it not going to be Brian Cage? Nana's laughing, but in a really weird way. Someone's cheering. Oh, it's going to be exciting. It's Luchasaurus. Oh. I've heard a lot about you, Nick Wayne. So Christian's come out with Luchasaurus. I want a Keith Lee. I want a Keith Lee. I understand you had a father and your father is dead. I understand your father was a professional wrestler. But I've never heard of him. So he couldn't have been very good. Because your father was a talentless hack, you haven't got much to live up to, so that's good news. That's a bust. Oh wow. That's some of the other stuff I was like, yeah, it's a bit, you know, whatever, but wow, that one was that was a shot, man. He said, I don't want you to have to see that coffin door close on someone else you love this Sunday. A-hole chance. That felt too far, man. But in a perfectly acceptable way, because I'm sure he checked this off with Nick Wayne backstage. Picture's gone again. We've been having a few picture troubles tonight. We've got a black screen now. That's third time we've had like some picture breakage. What's this? What's happened to this match now? What is it with Fight Tonight? Yeah. FTR and Young Bucks backstage with Renee. FTR Bucks 3. I didn't realize that the World Tag Team Championships said Jay Briscoe on them. I didn't know this. They've got Jay Briscoe nameplates, which I'm sure is news to everybody, or everyone knew ages ago. I didn't know. Wyndham is coming. Wyndham is coming. Heather said, I love Christian. He is the best heel promo in AEW. So Young Bucks talk about how impossible it seemed getting 10,000. Matt and I are made men. Yeah, I agree. I agree with him. He says, me and Matt are made men. We don't need to win this match, but they need to beat us for their legacy. This is the biggest match of our career, said Dax. This is personal to us. This match could bang, couldn't it? This match could really, really bang. Because you know the Bucks are going to bring everything they've got, and FTR the same. And I certainly don't think a scale stage of this magnitude is going to get in the way for these two teams. Legacy. Dax is talking about legacy. Every week is about how you feed your family. Every week is about legacy. We brought you here. How do you feed your daughter? Don't forget, we brought you here. It's the truth. When we hang up, wow, when we hang up our sneakers, do you know what people are going to say? They're going to say that was the best tag team in all of pro wrestling. Cash is like, okay. Okay, so I'm sure that's what they will say, yeah. You want to be on our level, but there ain't no way, says FTR. Dax says, we're the foundation round here now. You were the foundation, but now we're the foundation, and our foundation's going to crack your foundation. It's a battle of foundations. We need the Heart Foundation. We could have a foundation three-way. Foundation triple threat match. Punk Omega Bucks got suspended for less than what Cash did, said Carlos. Nick and Cash, I guess, are just silent partners. Nick Wayne is the son of Buddy Wayne and the grandson of Moondog Ed Moretti. Rob said, if Adam and Max get to a point where they no longer are friends, as hard as that is to even conceive, I'm going to blame Renee for driving a wedge between them. Neither of the Young Bucks had a pinky's finger worth of HBK's charisma. Boomer said, FTR's first time ever all in. AB Jobson said, AR Fox needed that embassy rub. Why kick him out so quick? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I mean, I agree. I think he needed that sort of platform, that sort of spotlight. And I can only imagine that they've got something else planned now. Cash should be in the Bullet Club. Santa said WrestleMania is still the best event in all of wrestling. Wrestlers in AEW do too much talking. It is boring. WWE rules. Corey said, ain't FTR and the Young Bucks ever touching Road Warriors? I completely agree. I'm thinking Sting gets... I just think they went a bit too big. When he said, look, when we hang our sneakers up, people are going to say, okay, let's give them their flowers. I thought he was going to say they were the best, or most influential tag team of this generation. I'd even go as far as to say the best generation of this tag team. I don't know that they are. I think you could make an argument for a few teams. Obviously, Usos come to mind. But yeah, they're definitely in the conversation for this generation. But to go as big as to say, like, the all-time greatest tag team is like, I don't think people are going to say that. There might be some that say that, but I don't think there's going to be the majority that are going to be saying that. So I think he just got a little carried away. Do you know, it's like the adrenaline's pumping. You know, it's Wembley in a few days' time. He's just all kinds of excited, isn't he? That's what's happened. He's got all kinds of excited. He's got a bit giddy with the excitement. And he's gone big. Go big or go home. AB Jobson said, I'm thinking Sting gets put in the coffin, symbolizes either his career is over or an Undertaker-like rebirth. Gabavso said the announcers are down front due to Jungle and FTW title. Taz will get involved, having Hook come down and challenge at Wemb with his dad in his corner. Mark my words. There you go. Heard it here first from Godfather's Ho. Oh. What's Tony Storm doing? We're taking a trip back to the era of DMD. So we're looking at the ladies. Right, time for Ruby Soho. Ruby Soho taking on Sky Blue. I didn't realize that Tony Storm was now going into some sort of Marilyn Monroe phase. Okay, Ruby Soho making her way down. Ruby Soho. Sky Blue in it. Swerve and Fox lose to Wayne and Darby, and then they'll lose again at Wembley. Wow, Swerve and Fox are done. It won't be Swerve and Fox at Wembley. Here's Sky Blue. Soho tips Sky Blue to the outside, but she lands on her feet. Kick coming in there by Sky. Sky Blue hurling Ruby into the railing barricades. Sky Blue's so interesting because she looks great. And she's definitely got the crowds, but then you hear her like talk and you go, no. She ain't got any charisma. Her delivery's all monotone. I just can't see her talking people into the building, you know? And promos are so important. I mean, maybe you could like find a way of like doing pre-recorded promos where, you know, she gives it a go, she messes it up, and you go, do it again. And then like, no, do it again. Try and put a bit more enthusiasm in this time, love. Such a shame because like she's one of those kind of young emerging talents that you kind of go, yeah, she could do something, man. Like you could see her being like, don't want to say the next one off the conveyor belt, but it's one that they're really getting behind. I think she'll still do fine, but I don't think she's going to be the big, you know what I mean, like the next Britt Baker type big female talent they've got. I just think her promos are going to let her down. Sky Blue going back over to the corner. I don't know if you saw her with RJ City. That's quite famous now, isn't it? Forearm strikes coming in. Toni Storm hated WWE for the way they were booking her and she walked. This is worse. When will she walk again? Heather said, poor Sky can't cut a promo to save her life. It's a tough one to learn as well, isn't it? That's the problem, is it's a real tough one to learn. She can get better. You can get better at it, but it does feel sometimes like it's one of those things that you either have got or you haven't got. Crossbody to the outside. She lit a kid on fire, said Mitchell. She did, yeah. I think that interview was like good and bad for her because it kind of blew up. Like it was like so many views because people couldn't quite believe some of her answers and the way that she was responding to some of the questions. I think there was like disbelief, but equally, it's one of the more interesting things that she's actually done, to be honest. Because she's still coming through, isn't she? She's still emerging. Yeah, we haven't really like done loads of stuff with her yet. So that's still one of the biggest things she's been a part of. So it definitely got a name out there even more. Ruby is standing over Sky. No, Saraya. Tony was coming down, but Ruby was like, nah, you're right, I don't need you. And Tony went to the back again. Not Tony Khan, Tony Storm. Ruby grabbing Sky and roll up by Sky. No. Back elbow by Ruby. 1, 2. Shoulder up. RJ should be on TV every week. That interview show just isn't enough. Santa said, did Keith Lee really walk out of AEW? I would love to see Keith Lee back in WWE. I don't know if he did, to be honest. I haven't heard that he's walked out of AEW, but I wanted him to walk out when Swerve needed a new partner. Ruby charging over, clothesline, down goes Sky Blue. 1, 2, kick out. Keith Lee's not walked out on AEW, says James. Days, I wondered what's your score for the show. I think it's been pretty fun, maybe 6.57. Yeah, I don't think there's been... Well, I really enjoyed Ospreay and Jericho. Really, outside of that, there's not really been much that's grabbed my attention. Crowd were really into Phoenix and Moxley. I thought the stuff that happened after was a bit silly. The sit-down interviews with MJF was okay. As I said, though, I just don't really believe him as a face. But I think that's part of it. I thought the stuff we just had was a bit off. I mean, I didn't know that AR Fox had looked after Darby. So seeing Darby and Sting come to his aid was a bit like, why would they do that? But then he explained it, and I was like, okay, that's why they would do that. And then, like, Luchasaurus comes out. So what did they say to Luchasaurus and Christian? Did they say, if AR Fox does well, then we don't need you. So can you just hang around in the back? And if we lose, then we'll fire him and we'll go with you. But if we win, then we don't need your services. Like, and was Luchasaurus like, yeah, that sounds fine. That sounds fine, yeah. I'll just hang around out back and I'll see how the match goes. Because it seemed to be planned, didn't it? But perhaps they knew that he was useless and he would lose the match for him. Or perhaps even if he'd have won, they were going to swap it. Perhaps there was nothing AR Fox could do. Perhaps he has his mouth open when he chews food and it really annoys Swerve. And there was nothing he could do. Ruby gets planted by Sky Blue. Cover coming in. They've got 25 minutes left to go. Ruby, 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 Soho. So shoulder up by Ruby. What more can Edge do in WWE? At some point, they need to push younger talent and squeeze out the vets. Oh, there's still lots. I mean, like, he could win that world title. And then he could put over a younger heel, like, say, Gunther. Gunther could beat Edge to get that title. We haven't seen Gunther Edge. We haven't seen Johnny Gargano against Edge. Tommaso Ciampa. I really like Rick Boogs. Bron Breaker's coming up. I mean, there's always going to be people, isn't there? There's always people. And someone like Edge, who you've spent like decades building up, like he's valuable, man. He's valuable. You definitely, I mean, I think you run it till the wheels come off. I honestly, I think you go until like you just can't really do it anymore. Like, it's time. You know when it's time. And maybe it's getting close to being time. Maybe WWE know that if he does go to AEW, he ain't going to go there long. But saying that, they could use him as like a GM, couldn't they? He could be used as a wrestler, and then they could transition him to like a general manager position. And then that still keeps him around and keeps him associated. So if I was WWE, I wouldn't want to lose him. Okay, here's Roderick Strong. At the end of All in London, we will find out who the real MJF is, and we will find out who the real Adam Cole is. Okay, so House of Black stole those boots. He left his boots in the ring. They've thrown them. Is that what they took him? They took the boots just to throw them in the bin. In a trash compactor. That's it. They destroyed the boots. Here's the Acclaimed. No, yo, now listen. None of that. Straight down to the ring with microphones. No more mind games. No more fun times. They're just straight down to the ring, and they're meaning business, although we are short of time. So do they want the House of Black? Is that what they want? Lights go out. Acclaim call out the House of Black. The lights go out. Lights still out. I watched NXT, Von Wagner, Braun Breaker. I think it's awful. They can't punch. They both sell so bad. Braun Breaker was a little better than Wagner, but the sun was awful, said Red Sky. What's your reaction on Terry Funk passing away? Yeah, we touched on it. Really sad, but I can't say that's surprising. He'd not been well for a long time. Can I just say, the lights went out. When they came back up, the House of Black are just walking out the entranceway. So what was the point, really, in the lights going out? Julia Hart's got some lights on her hat. Why not? Lights out again. We see some patterns in the crowd. That was better. The lights are back on and they've surrounded the ring. So Julia Hart is on the one side of the ring. We've got the House of Black 3-on-2. I think the crowd are chanting for Billy Gunn to come down. Fans want Billy Gunn to come down and even the numbers. Kick there by Malachi. Didn't really work very well for the Acclaim, did it? Unless the lights are going to go out and they've got themselves a partner. Well, the lights haven't gone out, but they do have themselves some assistance. It is Daddy Ass making his way down. Why are they all leaving the ring? Why have they all left the ring? There's a flipping boomer that's just got into the ring, and the House of Black are like, whoa. 3 of us can't take down 1 Billy Gunn. We don't want that trouble. We know when we're outnumbered. Billy Gunn grabs the microphone. He's jacked in it. He's... Considering he's like 87. You wanted my attention. You got it. So he's explaining what happened. I put my boots right here. I was okay with leaving behind a really good career. Yeah, but this is always going to happen, Billy. People are always going to come after the Acclaimed. You can't just keep coming back. Stay retired. That's what I say. Stay retired. Otherwise, you'll never retire. I've done stuff in this business that'll go down in wrestling history. One more time. All in. 80,000. Is it going to be the last time, though? I will take everything from you. Oh. Huh? Wow. So, no Daddy Ass. It's going to be Badass Billy Gunn in London. Badass Billy Gunn will be at London. good. But I'm still a bit confused. Like, he said one more time. Does this mean like it's his last time? Is it the last time? I didn't really get the sense it was his last match, even though they're trying to make out his last match was his last match. I don't know. I think they would have made it a bit more bigger deal out of it if this was going to be his last ride, you know? Right. How long have we got left? We've got 14 minutes to go. 14 minutes to go. They're just running down the cards. What do you think the Dynamite episode will do next week? 1.1, 1.2? It's not impossible. These big shows can bring in casuals. Yeah, I mean, look, if next week's Dynamite doesn't do 1 million, I think that will be a concern. Because this is the kind of thing that should do it, shouldn't it? This should spike it next week, so... Yeah, I'm certainly not expecting 1.5, 1.6 or anything like that, but 1.1, 1.2, yeah. But Terry Funk was a hardcore wrestler. R.I.P. Terry Funk, says Christopher. But Triple H doing his mate a favor. What, by allowing the badass Billy Gunn name? I don't know, actually. I don't know if that's something that's owned by WWE. I mean, I wouldn't imagine that Triple H would do him that favor. I don't know. Perhaps perhaps WWE did own it, but it's now just expired or something. I don't know. It's an interesting one, isn't it? It is an interesting one. Didn't think of it from that perspective. Here's the Hardys. There's a badass coming to London, and his name is Billy Gunn, says Elshawn. But the Ass Man returns. Billy went into retirement a couple of weeks ago. The match at Wembley might be his real last match. Yeah, I think he would have made a bigger deal out of it if it is to be his last match, though. I mean, he did go into retirement. I didn't believe that it was his retirement. I didn't think he would put his boots in the middle of the ring during a collision. I mean, you'd expect him to walk away on a pay-per-view. So I never bought that was it. I fully expected to see him again. But this would be a perfect place for him to call it quits, you know? 80-odd thousand. I mean, you can't really ask. I mean, I don't know when AEW are going to do another show of this magnitude. So... you know, this would be a perfectly fine place. So he did say for one more time, which sort of implied it might only be one more time, but I don't know. If I was AEW, Billy Gunn's last match, like, it would definitely be part of the graphic and everything. I would definitely make a big thing of that. So I don't know. I'm still a bit torn as to whether it's going to be his last match. I'm probably leaning more towards no. Just because he didn't really say that it was, but we'll see. It is crazy. For the last 11 months, Dynamite has hit 1 million 2 times a very long stretch. It's crazy. For the last 11 months, Dynamite has hit 1 million 2 times a very long stretch. Yes. Right, we are at commercial break. One more time will be Badass Billy Gunn. Daniel said that Hardy's got to be on Wembley somehow if Jeff's criminal history doesn't stop him from being allowed in the UK. Oh, I don't know. I don't know, actually. That's a really interesting point. Maybe he wouldn't be able to come over. Maybe he wouldn't be able to come over. Because they've not been on the card or scheduled for the card, that conversation hasn't actually come up. I wonder if there's any info on that. Could Jeff Hardy travel to London? All in. Let's see if someone's Will Jeff be allowed to compete? Oh. Oh, no. Oh, I don't want a video. Jeff cleared to travel with the WWE in the UK. That was in 2017. So he got the AOK in 2017. I think he might have been over then, but then he's had a few more recent troubles, hasn't he? Matt reveals he and his brother Jeff were going to win the AEW tag titles before the latter's arrest. Blah, blah, blah. Matt Hardy is excited about Wembley next month. Doesn't say, though. Gives update, Jeff on night. Jeff Hardy returns to AEW. He's just getting back into his groove. Jeff made headlines because he was driving under the arrest. This was his third DUI. That DUI situation in Jeff's past, it still doesn't change his status from the international traveler. Jeff is going to get higher. It wasn't his call. Did an injury angle. Blah, 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 to cover for the Canadian tour. AEW's got a few shows. So actually Canada might be difficult for him to get into. Seems like Canada might be a problem for Jeff. But no news as to whether London would be an issue. Don't know. They're not on the card, are they? I don't think they're on the cards. UK, what a dump. We allow rapists and pedos, but not DUIs. Do we allow rapists and pedos? Do we? I would be surprised if we did. If you've been done for rape or pedophilia, I would be shocked if we allowed you in the country. Right, I need to change this, don't I? It's Aussie Open against the Hardys. 7 minutes left to go. Matt's going to do what he does best, and that's tag in Jeff, said Travis. Firefox 1 worse they hack. Don't know what that means. AB said, Thunder Rosa awaiting the champion. Hopefully she can face and destroy Tony Storm. No Thunder Rosa, is there on that show? I wonder if she'll make an appearance. I heard she's like close to getting a return if she hasn't returned already. We're fighting on the outside of the ring here. He can't be in Canada. They was there for a month straight and it was said Jeff wasn't allowed. Let's go. Right, we've got Matt slammed on the edge of the ring. So Aussie Open in control. James said, I thought more matches were being made tonight for All In. Yeah, they haven't announced anything extra, have they? To be honest, I mean, I'm all right with that. Matt and Jeff rammed into each other. So Matt and Jeff down on the outside of the ring. They're mocking Jeff. I make a living robbing sex offenders. Fair play. You can easily look up their addresses and they aren't legally allowed to own a firearm. It's easy money. You're doing God's work, my friend. Okay, Jeff is down in the ring. Matt is being thrown into a railing. Jeff going face first into the turnbuckle. So Aussie Open in control. Do you think Y2J will do a double turn? He was a heel at Mania 26 versus Edge, and there was a Fozzy show after. Well, there we go. Confirmed. Aussie Open taking their time a little bit here, being quite slow, methodical. They ain't got loads of time to play with, but matches starting to settle down a little. If you go to the theaters and watch Sound of Freedom, then you'll understand why paedophilia is so terrible. It's because of open borders. It's all getting a bit political. Headlock being applied. Reports made it that there'd be about 4 or 5 matches for All In being announced because of what Tony said. He did say there was going to be announcements this week, didn't he? I suppose we have had announcements, though. We've had the announcements that AR Fox has been fired and replaced with Luchasaurus. We've had the announcement that Santana and Ortiz are back. They announced it by returning. Right, Aussie Open. 3 minutes. Against the rope goes Jeff. Duck underneath. Stumbles over to the corner. Back elbow by Jeff. Jeff going up top. Lovely. I feel like you're in a different place with AEW compared to February. There was a point where we were hitting a breaking point, but things have improved. Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't feel in a massively different place. I feel what happens, my relationship with AEW is that I watch it, and a lot of weeks, I really struggle to find stuff in there that appeals to me. But the thing that AEW do a good job of is there will always be something, there will always be some light at the end of the tunnel. Like, there's been plenty of episodes recently, I think last week, actually, in particular. Not a good episode of Dynamite. And if it wasn't for the Wembley show that was on the horizon, I genuinely, I don't know what we would do with like the AEW streams. Because there's been plenty of times this year where the shows have left me just really underwhelmed and just like, everyone's got their own tastes in wrestling. I have no problem with people that watch and enjoy AEW, but my appreciation of it does really struggle at times. Like, there's times on the show where I just can't find anything that appeals to me. I would say this week's been all right. It's been some stuff this week that, the Jericho Ospreay segment in particular, I really enjoyed. And the 200th episode of Dynamite I thought was really good as well. That was a few weeks ago. But then you had like last week's episode that I didn't think was very good at all. But yeah, we've gone through a period where there was probably more bad than good. But how can you not be excited for, or like, you know, get through those bad shows knowing that Wembley show is on the way? You know, the Wembley show is so big, so monumental that it's like, if we have to ride through some bad shows just to get to the Wembley show, that's what we've done. But thankfully, the 200th episode of Dynamite was good, and this week's episode has been more than passable, more than acceptable. And I'm genuinely excited for the Wembley show as well. So yeah, I would say that we're in an all right place with AEW at the moment. But would I be surprised that once we're past All In, All Out, the shows go back to being a bit of a struggle again? I wouldn't, actually. It wouldn't surprise me if like we end up and then all of a sudden there isn't a Wembley show to build towards. So I don't know. I don't know how good I don't know how long the good times are going to last, but certainly I'm excited for this weekend and all out as well. Aussie Open have picked up the win, so it's not going to be the Hardys. There will be no double clothesline at Wembley Stadium. No kangaroo kick. And Aussie Open will still be your Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Bay. I think Aussie Open should win, man. I mean, they are a proper, legit tag team. I know that MJF and Adam Cole are like two of the biggest stars, but they've been a tag team for all of 5 minutes. I think that Aussie Open really should be getting the win. Here's Adam Cole and MJF making their way down to the ring. Face to face. Big, aren't they, Aussie Open? Tony said, I'd love to see a double clothesline about now. That's what he'd love. He'd love that. Big brawl breaks out. Kind of weird, isn't it? Don't you think it's just a little strange? It's not bad. It's just a little strange that the Dynamite is closing on a promotion for the kickoff show match. Normally, and I know technically they're sort of doing it as well. Normally, you would want to close your show promoting the main event. And I know Adam Cole MJF is the main event, so in a roundabout way, you are doing that as well. But it is just sort of strange that we've got MJF, Adam Cole in there. They're attacking Aussie Open. And this is the kickoff show match. You could make an argument, be an interesting list, that this is double clothesline, against the ropes. No, couldn't land the double clothesline. You could make the argument this is the biggest kickoff show match of all time. MJF is getting ready for the kangaroo kick. That's going to be denied as well. No kangaroo, no double clothesline, no kangaroo kick, but they've certainly set up a few moments, spots for that match. I'm sure they'll hit the double clothesline. I'm sure they'll hit the kangaroo kick. So Adam Cole goes for a super kick, almost super kicks MJF. Now we've got the promotion for the main event. Hug it out is being chanted. MJF goes over, grabs Triple B, holds up the Triple B championship. Adam Cole puts his hand out. MJF barges past Adam Cole. Got the diamond ring on. And they hug it out. Right. Payback is the week after. What matches are you excited for? FTR Bucks could be a classic. Stadium Stampede will have a few wicked spots. And the women's four-way should be solid, says AB. Well, I'm definitely interested to see what they're going to do with MJF Adam Cole. I'm definitely interested in that. I do think FTR Young Bucks is going to bang. I agree with that. I just think there's lots of little moments. I mean, like, there's not really any match on there that I won't find something that, you know, is going to be entertaining about it. Everything's going to offer, each match will offer something. Just having a look. I don't want to forget any. So MJF Adam Cole, yes. CM Punk, I mean, look, CM Punk, Samoa Joe, maybe the match doesn't massively grab me, but just CM Punk's entrance and the place going bananas as he steps out. I mean, I really want to see that. So I'm interested in the match for that moment. Even though the match itself might not be match of the night, I want to see for that moment. Will Ospreay coming out? I want to see what reaction Ospreay gets in Wembley, because Ospreay is English. You could make an argument that him and Zack Sabre are right up there with some of the best talent we've ever produced. He is, I mean, it's not often that we have got a legitimate contender for best wrestler in the world. And I think him and Zack Sabre both find themselves being in that conversation. But I mean, like, British Bulldog was never in the conversation for being the best wrestler in the world. Maybe Dynamite was, like, fleetingly for a very short moment. But yeah, the Ospreay is very much in that conversation, and I think there's a lot of love and affection for him, and maybe people will boo him just to play the part, you know, because that's what we're meant to do. But I've got to think he's going to be getting a lot of love. So I'm interested to see, again, the match might not bang, but I'm interested to see the Ospreay entrance. I don't care about the Jericho entrance. I've heard Judas too many times. But Ospreay's entrance, I'm definitely on board with. CM Punk's entrance, I'm on board with. MJF Adam Cole, I want to know how the story goes in that match. Stadium Stampede, it's just going to be big, messy. Just, you know what I mean? Turn your brain off and have some fun. I'm down for that. Golden Elite against Bullet Club Golds. I mean, you got some big players in that match, ain't you? You know? Imagine the Golden Elite coming out at Wembley, and Bullet Club Gold have been doing some great stuff, so yeah, I'm certainly not down on that. Swerve and Christian Cage against Darby and Sting. I don't know that it is Swerve and Christian Cage. That's what it says on Wikipedia. Isn't it Swerve and Luchasaurus? There might be a bit of confusion as to actually who's in that match. Maybe might even turn into a 6-person. It might be Darby, Sting, and Nick against Swerve, Christian Cage, and Luchasaurus. I'm still not totally clear what's happening with that match. But either way, you know, it's Sting. It's Sting! We're going to see Sting. Him coming out, legend at Wembley. Amazing. Everyone remembers WCW. Akari Shida, Tony Storm, Saraya, Britt Baker. Yeah, you know, Saraya coming back home. And then FTR Young Bucks. I think FTR Young Bucks is going to be match of the night. But then, you know, there's so much that's on the card that I think it's like, yeah, I can't miss that match. Can't miss that match. I don't really think there's a bathroom break match there. And can I just give them more props? I'm giving a lot of props tonight. Can I give them more props? There's still only 9 matches. And that's exactly what it should be. Like, if they add a battle royal, I have no problem with that. I totally understand. I tell you what, even if they had 2 battle royals, no problem with it. Because I totally understand this is the biggest show they've ever done, and maybe the biggest show they'll ever do. And I could understand people that haven't made it onto this card wanting to just experience being out there. And I think do a battle royal for the men, a battle royal for the women. Give them either like a cup that they can win or a title shot they can earn. I ain't got no problem with that. And you can even put it on the kickoff show, you know. Lovely, not a problem. That still only takes it to 11 matches, including the kickoff show matches. That's fine. That's absolutely fine, that is. Ain't got no issue with that. That's absolutely fine. It's where we start to get to like 14, 15 matches. That's when it starts to be a bit like, oh my God. I'm going to be here forever. I'm going to need my sleeping bag and a tent and a night light and a little stove to do food. Because I can't go longer than really 20 hours without eating. And God only knows how long this thing's going to go on for. But 9 matches. Got to give him props for that. Fair play. That's what I say. Daniel said, a lot of entrances will be intriguing. Sting, for God's sake, walking out at Wembley Stadium. Christian and Swerve against Darby and Sting. Christian and Swerve. So it's... I thought it was Luchasaurus. Poor Luchasaurus. So, technically, Luchasaurus has become Christian's manager now. Right? I thought they were going to make it like a 6-person or something. Fuzzy concert was announced at Wembley. That's the bathroom break. Well, I don't know what the concert is. I don't. They might just be doing a song, and that song might just be to get. I don't know that they're doing like anything too big. Oh, I don't need any more than Judas being played. If they're going to try and play other songs, then they're going to try and do 2-3 songs. Oh my God, you're absolutely right. That would be the bathroom break. That might be enough for me to turn the show off. What match will have kendo sticks and thumbtacks? All of them. Of course, All In is going to have 2 5-star matches. Meltzer is a mark. Yeah, but exciting though, isn't it? If you go to All In London, there is a really good chance you will see a 5-star match. Because we know that this is to Meltzer's taste. It's to his personal taste. This is the kind of thing that Dave Meltzer likes. So, yeah, there's a really good chance you could see something that gets rated 5 stars. That's just exciting if you're going, isn't it? It's exciting if you're going. But they're going to play Jericho to the ring. They're just doing Judas, says Jono. What was your score? I would say 6.5 to 7. I felt the last match didn't really do much for me, so probably settled on a 6.5. It was solid. It was absolutely acceptable. Actually, I would say borderline good for a go-home show. You know how go-home shows are normally just trash. Just completely trash. I mean, I didn't think this was that bad. I mean, certainly compared to some of the Dynamites I've seen recently, I thought this was perfectly acceptable. And, yeah, obviously we've got more than half an eye now on Sunday. I need to go and start getting that set. I keep saying, I need to set it up. I need to set it up. I need to go and do that. And also for members, we are doing a watch along tomorrow. I said I would do Payback tomorrow, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So if you are a member on the channel, then we are going to be doing a Payback watch along, where we're going to go back and rewatch. We've already done a watch along for it on the channel anyway, but obviously that's, we were all, you're going back 3 years. We were all in different headspaces. Different questions were being asked by the chat. So at least now it's going to be really interesting to go back and see how it all started for Roman and kind of see what people were doing at the time, because I can't quite remember the card. I know that it was during the Thunderdome era. It's not an era that I'm desperate to go back to, but yeah, I thought it'd be pretty fun to go back to the very beginning of Roman's reign. So we're going to do that tomorrow as well. So we're doing that tomorrow for the members. We've got obviously SmackDown on Friday. We got Daniel Dubois against Usyk on Saturday, which I need to do research for. And we've got All In on Sunday. So much coming up on the channel, man. So much on the way. Really, really appreciate the support. Of course, we're going to wrap this up. And yeah, hope you have a good evening wherever you are. Enjoy the rest of your nights. And as we said, I'm sure I'll see you at some point over the coming days, as we've got so much going on and a massive, massive weekend to look forward to. So thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support as always.